India and Russia. Okay. Okay. So regarding India and Russia, so you see during the Cold War period, India, and by the time it was called Soviet Union and India had a very good relationship. So this you should know. Okay. And you have to note that Soviet Union's friendship was very, very, very useful for India. Okay. That means already we know what is foreign policy. Foreign policy is all about getting benefits. Okay. So because of Soviet Union, we were protected from China, we were protected from USA also. Okay. So because USA have signed a security deal with Pakistan, you have to note that in India-Pakistan war, 1965 war, particularly 1971 war, India was under enormous threat. So the ultimate point is, if India did not have good relationship with Soviet Union, means in 1971 itself, India might have been disintegrated, or India might have been completely occupied by both Pakistan, China, and also by US. So already we know in the first class itself, I gave a hint that during the Bangladesh Liberation War, Pakistan was about to attack us from east and western side, and China was about to attack us from the northern side. And we also know that US also have sent their US sent their 7th fleet, nuclear capable 7th fleet into Bay of Bengal. That means from all the four sides, India was about to get attacked. Okay. But Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister of India by that time, what she did is she signed a security deal. It is not a security deal, it is like something like a friendship deal. We signed Indo-Soviet Union Friendship Treaty in 1971. And this friendship treaty ensured that US will not directly involve in India's problem, India-Pakistan's problem. So it was a direct conflict between India and Pakistan, and it was a decisive victory for India, and Pakistan was divided into two countries. Now Bangladesh is there. Okay, so we all know this. So if Russia did not help India during that 1971, you should know that India will be under, yes, that means India was already under tight corner. Okay, so India, you have to note that India may not be India today. Okay, if in 1971 Russia did not come to our rescue, Soviet Union did not come to our rescue. So that's why I said during the Cold War period, Soviet Union was very, very, very helpful for India. Helpful for India. Helpful for India means useful for India. So Soviet Union's defense backup, and that means defense trade with Soviet Union, all this helped India to survive during the Cold War period. Okay, so no doubt in that Soviet Union was giving us a backup. A mighty country was giving up a full backup for India. So India used the Soviet Union. So I am telling Soviet Union's friendship was relevant during Cold War period. So if something they are asking, is it relevant means, is it useful? The other meaning of relevant in foreign policy, in this context, we can say that it is useful. Whether Soviet Union was relevant to India, like that someone asked question meant, yes, Soviet Union was very, very relevant, because Soviet Union was very, very useful for India, particularly to come out of the 1971 tight situation. Okay, so no doubt in that. But unfortunately, in 1990, Soviet Union collapsed. Our mighty friend who was giving up a full backup is no more. And Russia succeeded Soviet Union. Soviet Union disintegrated into 15 countries. But Russia succeeded Soviet Union. Russia is also a big country, no doubt. But in 1990, Russia was under transition. So from a communism, it is now moving towards liberalism. And that means in terms of economy and also in political, you have to note that Soviet Union was in transition. Okay, and Russia had its own problem. So Russia did not have much time to look upon foreign affairs or world affairs, because Russia itself was in transition. But what happened is after 2000 again, Russia and India again signed some kind of deals. Okay, so my question here is, Very simple. During 1990, that means before 1990, Soviet Union was very, very, very relevant to India. Okay, so no doubt in that. But what is the question today is Russia relevant to India today? Is Russia is relevant to India? So relevance means useful. Or the other way of asking this question is, do we need Russia today? So this is the question. Why we need Russia? Why we need Russia? People say that Russia is giving us defense equipments. Yes, Russia is our largest defense partner, no doubt in that. Without Russia, our defense position will become very, very weak, because from Russia only we are getting already among the existing defense equipments. You have to note that 80% of the total defense equipments are all from Russian origin only. So 80% of what we have in defense, military, air force, whatever it is Russian equipments only. Yes, but nowadays we are importing only 60%. That means we are diversifying our defense dependence, defense trade dependent. Okay, so now Israel is supplying India many things, and even with US we have signed defense cooperation agreements. So in this context, what I am telling is Russia is helping India. Russia is very, very useful to India. Russia, we need Russia, that and all okay. But what I am telling is we have choice. We have choice. We have an option. If Russia tomorrow is telling no, I won't sell any defense equipments to India, like that Russia is issuing a statement, means I am telling we have other choice. We have other alternatives. Israel will supply. US will be very happy, and then it will supply. But we will be India will be under some kind of difficulty. Yes, but what I am telling is, with respect to defense, Russia is very, very important to India. Yes, but what I am telling is, even if Russia is not supplying, we have alternative. Okay, so but I am not undermining India-Russia defense relation. What I am coming to say is, without Russia also, India in future can survive, but we'll face problem, but we can manage, we can survive. That's what I am telling. In which other area Russia is very, very important to India? People say energy, oil. So Russia is the world's largest producer of natural gas, second in terms of oil production. So Russia is having enormous amount of oil and gas in the Siberian forest. Okay, but India is one of the world's largest importer of oil and gas, because we don't have much oil and gas, but yet we import from other countries. But yet you have to note that we are not importing from Russia. So Russia is a close ally of India, and Russia is also will be ready to supply us gas and oil at a cheaper price, concessional price, than any other country, because to maintain our friendship. But we are not buying oil and gas from Russia. See, what I'm telling is, our major dependence is only towards West Asia. Why this is the case? Why means because transportation and route, both these two things are the problem. See, Russia is in a distant country to India. If India have to access Russia means, so we have to go to through Arabian Sea, through Red Sea, through Mediterranean Sea, and then again through Baltic Sea we have to enter into Russia, which is a distant route. Okay, the longest country in the world as of now today is Russia. Even though Russia is very close to India in terms of kilometers, just above China we have Russia, but through China we can't connect Russia. So this is the problem. Connectivity to Russia is the problem. In West Asia itself already we know, connecting Caspian Sea or Central Asia is our biggest problem. Through Chabahar port, now only we are trying to do something, that too got into trouble because of China-Iran deal. So that we know. So business means it is all about profit. Profit means transportation, the distance, route and all is very, very important. More distance means more cost, transportation cost. It will affect the profit. Both the countries cannot benefit. So to avoid that only, what we are doing is, we are not buying anything from Russia. But the point is, if nobody is supplying us oil and gas means, then Russia is there for us. Russia, so irrespective of the distance, we will buy it from Russia. So tomorrow West Asia is under some kind of problem. West Asia, they are having war. So all the oil supply lines, West Asia, India has been cut down means, then we can access Russia. Okay, so then transportation distance will not be a problem. But when something is available in your neighborhood, we should buy it only from our neighborhood. See, if you wanted to buy a pen, 10 rupees pen means, a Reynolds pen means, you have to buy it from the neighborhood. You should not go to the Pune, the manufacturing industry, and then buy it just for 10 rupees. See, transportation means cost. The cost of the product will increase. So it is waste. Okay. So that's why, as of now, from Russia, we are not buying oil and gas. But Russia is always ready to supply. Connectivity problem is there, distance problem is there. So in terms of oil and gas also, Russia is not that much useful. So this is the conclusion, inference. Okay. Then what about nuclear deals? Yes, Russia have already started this Kudam reactor. Already we know when no other countries so far have supplied us reactors or anything, Russia supplied us. But you have to note that it was US who helped India to come out of the that means the ban, NSG ban. So if India US civil nuclear cooperation agreement is not signed, means now also Russia cannot supply a nuclear reactor to India. But during Soviet Union period, defying NSG, Soviet Union started this Kudam reactor. That you have to note it. But it was very unfortunate for India that Soviet Union, our mighty friend, collapsed. So after that, what happened? Russia was trying to do that. But US pressurized Russia using NSG rules, and obviously Russia was not in a position to help India in civil nuclear cooperation. But when NSG gave us a waiver, when India already signed a deal with the US, but when NSG gave us a waiver, Russia immediately came to India, renewed the deal. That means we have signed a civil nuclear deal, and Russia completed the Kudam reactor. Today, 4 units are running in Kudam reactor. So that you have to note it. Okay, so with respect to nuclear technology, what I'm telling is Russia is helping India. I'm not undermining that, but yet we have to be very grateful to US, because US only got us a waiver from NSG. So Russia is also important, but what I'm telling is, what I'm asking is, the question is, in one particular issue only Russia can help. No, we have no other choice. Like that, if you wanted to answer something, means trade. Trade means definitely you have to note that India-Russia trade is that means the weakest link between the two countries. Okay, we are not having a good trade in terms of goods and services. Why? Means because obviously again distance is the problem. Trade means profit. Profit means it is associated with the transportation, distance, route, etc. So India gets into trouble. So that's why India-Russia trade relations are not good. Now only we have set some kind of target. We are trying to improve. But with our enemy China, we are having $75 billion approximately. With Russia, we have only 1/5 of the trade what we are having with China. Okay, so less than $20 billion only we are having trade with Russia. Okay, so in trade also India-Russia doesn't, except in defense trade. Defense trade, Russia is the largest partner, no doubt. But I'm telling in terms of goods and services, no. Russia is not our partner. Russia is helping India in space sector. So today ISRO is one of the powerful world space organization. So we are now sending foreign satellite also. We had moon mission, Mars mission, etc. We are proving to the world that India is one of the capable, ISRO is one of the capable international space organization. Okay, we have a commercial wing called Antariksh wing. So through that wing, we are also sending foreign satellites, Israeli satellites, Japan satellite, like that we are sending foreign satellites. But you have to note that ISRO, we have to say that today is a very strong organization. Definitely, we have to. That means we have to thank Russia's Roscosmos, Russian Space Agency, Roscosmos, Cosmos, KOSMOS. Russia's Roscosmos is the Russia Space Agency. So with the help of Russian Space Agency only, India have become a very strong organization. Okay. So in all these things, we can definitely say that Russia is helping India. But what I'm telling is, if Russia is not helping, means we have options. But this is the answer. With respect to United Nations Security Council, if India needs support, means the only country whom India can today rely And in the history and also in the future, India can rely is Russia. So that you have to note. See how we can say that Russia is our reliable friend based upon the history. See how will you find out a friend is a very good friend to you or not? See in the history, when you are in trouble, who came to our rescue? Whenever you have problem, who is coming and supporting you, backing you? So based on that only we will check the reliability. See, I am telling that since 1947, since the formation of the United Nations, I am telling, whenever there is any resolution passed based on Kashmir issue by Pakistan with the help of US or some other countries, even China, I am telling. Okay, so you have to note that every time, Russia put veto in favor of India. That means you have to note that no other country India can rely upon. So that you have to note it. Okay. So 1 minute. See, class faster ga. See, the thing is we have to discuss things. Okay. So bilateral notes and all. See, there is no notes for bilateral relation because whatever you take it will become irrelevant during the examination time. Why? Means because they will be asking only the current affairs based issues. So in that circumstances, what you have to do is you have to understand what we are discussing in the class. If you can understand it, means that is enough. Okay. Just if I am telling any important words, means that word alone you just note it. Okay. That means okay. I'll go a little slower. No problem. Okay. So I think I'm going slower only. I'm taking lot of class for you. Actually, by this time, I have exhausted all my quota. I'm in extra time, and still I need 3 more classes. India neighbors are there. Okay, so bilateral relation mostly it will be in the discussion form only. Okay, unlike other subject. Other subject means static area. Static area means what will happen? You need notes. Okay, so what we are discussing in the class, that only will come in the examination. So here you have to understand that's all. So far what we are discussing is Russia is a very important country to India. We need Russia. So this is what we are discussing. Today also Russia is relevant. Why? Means because just now we are discussing that United Nations Security Council. We need a reliable a person, a friend there in the top seat. If something is going against India, means then you have to note that we need someone to save India. Someone have to issue veto for India. But now with other friends also we are good. With other P5 countries except China, with particularly France. So now people say that France is our new Russia. Like that they are telling that they are specifying it. France is in quotes new Russia for India. What is that? What is the meaning of that? How Russia was there for India, like that today France is there. And US also is supporting India. See, last week China passed a resolution regarding Kashmir in United Nations Security Council. Okay. So US put veto. The P5 countries, they accept China. You have to note that the other countries did not accept it. Murali, screen over. Okay, so you have to note that Russia today is passing a resolution against India, supporting Pakistan. Earlier, this was done by US. So with respect to US, you see, US many times passed resolution regarding Kashmir, supporting Pakistan against India. But every time I am telling, every time, all the times, Russia supports India. Russia have put veto in favor of India. Or I will do one thing. Let me see. Allow me in my flow, and then I will dictate. Okay, I will give you the hint. Okay, I will dictate. You can by the time you can write. So what all I am speaking, don't think that you will be able to take notes. Okay, how that is possible? That means half of the class will be spent for dictating notes. See, that I don't want. See, how to manage this, I don't know. See, other students so far did not have any big problem. Okay, so since we have to discuss lot of issues, we can't give notes in the class. So already I have promised that I will give you the PPT, the maps and the transcript when you come to the class. Okay, now I am having other work. Okay, so so when you come to the class, when regular class starts, so you will get all the transcripts of what I am speaking. I will write it and then I will give you. Okay, so take running notes. Don't try to write everything I am speaking. So that is not at all possible. So if you want me to go slow means, then class will become dull. So my idea is just listen to the discussion. And periodically 5 minutes what I will do is I will summarize everything. You can write the summary. So this I can do it. Okay, so this we will try today. Okay, so now you write what we have discussed so far today. You write it now. Okay, so while I am discussing, just listen, and I will summarize at the end. You can write by the time. Okay, so now the summary of so far what we have discussed. You write it. Soviet Union was, you write Soviet Union was very useful. Soviet Union was very useful and relevant to India during Cold War period. During Cold War period. So the relevance means it is called useful. Soviet Union was very relevant to India during Cold War period. Relevant means in bracket, right? Useful. Useful to India during the Cold War period. Below that, right? Reason number 1, 1971 Bangladeshi Liberation War. 1971 Bangladeshi Liberation War situation. So self-explanatory. Okay, so I think you can understand. So 1971 Bangladeshi Liberation War situation. So that is the reason. So that's why I said during Cold War it is relevant. It is relevant. And then right, unfortunately Soviet Union disintegrated in 1990. Unfortunately Soviet Union disintegrated in 1990. That is, our mighty friend collapsed. Who backed India collapsed. That is, our mighty friend who backed India collapsed. Then Russia succeeded Soviet Union. Russia succeeded Soviet Union. Russia succeeded Soviet Union. Russia succeeded Soviet Union. But you write in 1990s, 1990 to 2000, during that the first decade, 1990 to 2000, 1990s, bilateral relation between India and Russia was not that much or not that much developed. Bilateral relation between the two countries was not developed. Reason, below that, right? Reason is Russia was in political transition, economic transition. Okay, so now only I ask that particular question. Today, is Russia today relevant to India? You put a question mark. Is Russia today relevant to India? So this was the question I was asking. So during the Cold War, our position was like this. So now today means after 2000, what is the position of India-Russia relationship? Okay, so below that you write Russia can help India. You write Russia is helping India, or you write like this: Russia is helping India in defense, comma, space, comma, energy. Energy means in bracket you write both oil and gas and nuclear technology, civil nuclear technology. So defense, space, and energy, oil plus nuclear energy. And also, so Russia is helping India in this three things. Okay, but you're right. But India have alternative. But India have alternative. So in these three things, Russia can help India, but India have alternative. In a separate line, you write, but with respect to United Nations Security Council, we need a reliable friend in the high table. We need a reliable friend in the high table. And that reliable friend is Russia. And that reliable friend today is Russia. And the reliable friend today is Russia. So why we are telling Russia is the reliable friend? Why means because it is because in bracket, right? Because or it is based on the historic situation, historic experience. Because it is based on the historic experience. So in the history, that means since 1947 till today, Russia helped India in United Nations Security Council. Are you right? Whenever, are you right like this? Whenever there is any resolution passed in UNSC, whenever there is a resolution passed in UNSC regarding Kashmir, whenever there is a UNSC resolution passed regarding Kashmir in UNSC, Russia vetoes in favor of India. Russia vetoes put veto in favor of India. Russia put veto in favor of India. Russia put veto in favor of India. And you're right. And until India becomes a member in UNSC with veto power, until India becomes a permanent member in UNSC with veto power, until India becomes a permanent member in UNSC with veto power, we have to depend upon Russia. Okay. So that's why I said Russia is very relevant to India today. Okay. We can't avoid Russia. So this is our position. Russia is very, very, very important to India. Very, very, very important to India. Okay. Shall we move? See, number one, you have to note that we have an unbroken bond of friendship. So 1 minute. Huh? 1 minute. See, taking class nowadays becomes very tough because you see, I used to take class with 200 students, more than 200 students in the class. Nobody is there in the class. I am speaking alone in a big auditorium. So that itself is very hard for me. See, some people are complaining that I am going fast. So now all people are now complaining that I am going slow. என்ன பண்றதுன்னே தெரியல. See, a bilateral class, we have to discuss things. So that is the way we have to go. Okay. See, it is difficult for everyone. I accept that. Okay. So classroom, no problem will be there. So since this is an video class, so we are trying to engage you all people. Okay. See, until the situation gets better. So maybe in a month or two, a month, I think by September, I think people are now contemplating to open the schools. So by the time institute also will be open, then classes will be there. So direct interaction will be there. So now in front of the empty chairs, I have to take the class. Okay. See, that itself is very difficult for me. See, I am going in my own way. So and you have to know that since a lot of students are there, some students are beginners, some students they regularly read news, some students they are in a expert level. Okay, so that's why this problem is there. But whatever may be the case, I can't come down completely. Okay, so you have to come up, I have to come down. See, based on this elasticity, that theory only. Okay, so if you are dragging that way means I will come down this side. If I am dragging this way means you have to come up, otherwise the band will break down. Okay. Okay, I will see just I wanted to ask you that whether you want this summary or not. See, let me discuss in a that means I will not go slow or fast. Okay, I will try to change my pace. So just tell me whether you want this summary or not. This summary vendama. So not all the students you just write. Sir, need summary, don't need summary. Like that you just type it. Now you type it again. Okay, just put it in the chat that whether you need summary or don't need summary. Okay, so we'll take another 2-3 minutes. No problem. Just in a minute you just send it. I will check it. See, some students I accept that. See, you should also do some homework. Okay. See, directly you are coming to the class means it will be a problem only because some students are well informed. So for some other students it is just a beginning. Okay, so different type of category of group of people are there, but that is not a matter. But at the end everybody will be same. But in the class you should also adjust. I can't change my modulation or speed or the content depending upon each and every student. If majority student asks means I can change according to that. If there is some problem from my side means I can address. Some students are telling class means sir is coming and telling that you are going very fast, slow down. So now I am slow down means everybody are complaining that class is going slow. Okay. Okay. So what we will do is I will go in a slower pace alone. Not very slower, but I will not summarize. Okay. So just write the hint. If you want means after the class I will write it and give you. So you are making my work double. That's all. Okay, no issue. Okay, I will write everything what I am discussing in this class with a slide. I will write in my handwriting and then I will post you. Okay. So don't worry that you are not taking notes. Try to take notes, running notes. See, paper is not the place to write. You have to write everything in the mind. See, if it is history or polity provisions or economics basics definitions means I can give you, I can stop everywhere, dictate notes and then I can go. So this is about discussion. What is going on between the two countries means lot of things are there to discuss. Lot of things are there. So if I am going this much pace means definitely I won't finish. See, already 11 classes are over for me. The 11 classes is the total allocated time. Okay, so we'll continue the class. Okay, I will go in a, that means not fast, not slow, like that I will go. Okay. Okay. So we have an unbroken bond of friendship. Unbroken bond of friendship means, what is the meaning of this? Never in the history between India, Soviet Union or India, Russia, we had issues. India, that means that the point is India never went against Russia, and Russia also never went against India. For example, Russia and China are close allies, Soviet Union and China. In 1962 war, both are communist countries. China attacked India. But what Russia did? Russia remained neutral. Russia remained neutral. I will tell you. Okay. So because both Russia, for Russia, China is a communist comrade, brother, but India is a friend. Like that it was there. So even in that time, Russia did not openly support China. So that is what I am telling. Russia always support India. We never raise voice against Russia. Even Russia is doing some aggressive things, India never criticize Russia. So that's why I said both the countries are having unbroken bond of friendship. Unbroken bond of friendship. And then we all know that after the Second World War, US president pressurized England to give us independence. Why? Second World War is all about the fight. The Second World War, the theme of that war, Second World War is freedom, anti-colonialism. So in that circumstances, England won the war. Then how come India be a slave of England even after Second World War? So that's why, based on this idea, US supported India or pressurized England to give us a freedom. See, don't think that US is worried about India. See, if that why US was pressurizing England, I will tell you. Then only US can become number one country. If India becomes continues to be the colonial country of England, means England again will become number one. Okay. So the other politics are there, but anyway, US supported India. It gave its voice in favor of India during independence. Okay. But when Soviet Union helped India, see, actually there is one person named M.N. Roy. M.N. Roy. See, who is he? He is the founder of Communist Party of India. So Indian Communist Party was founded in mid-1925, I think, in Tashkent. That day Soviet Union. So today's Uzbekistan's capital, Tashkent. That day Soviet Union. Indian Communist Party of India was founded there. M.N. Roy was one of the founding members. A group of people founded. M.N. Roy is one of the founding members. So that you have to note it. See, actually, we all know about Subhash Chandra Bose. See, Subhash Chandra Bose was a person during the Second World War, tried to collaborate with Germany and then with Japan to overthrow British regime in India. Okay, for that we, Indian National Army, INA, collaborated with Japanese army. That is Second World War. But don't think that it was Subhash Chandra Bose who was doing it. It was, you have to note that he was doing first. Actually, during the First World War itself, this M.N. Roy tried to collaborate with Germany to overthrow British regime in India. So that you have to know. But the expected help did not reach M.N. Roy. Because of that, he became a wanted person. So M.N. Roy, because this is British India, no? So British police was searching for him to arrest. So what M.N. Roy did? M.N. Roy fled to China. And then from China, he fled to Japan. Using a Japanese passport, he went and settled in US. And there he even married a US lady. Her name is Evelyn Roy. See, she is also an important person. But in Indian history, her name is not there. Why I am telling this? Because she is one of the founding member of Communist Party of India in Tashkent. She is one of, along with her husband, she was also one of the founding member of Communist Party. But nowhere in the history we have read about Evelyn. Okay. So, but anyway, but because in US only he began to read about communism, because he was trying and looking for other sources how to resist the British rule. So British rule it is based on liberalism, capitalism, and the enemy of the capitalism is communism. So if India cannot openly, that means M.N. Roy cannot openly wage war with the British Indian government. The only other way to contain British Indian government is by practicing communism. So through Russia, we can again hit British Empire. So this was his understanding. So because of his involvement in communism, he became a wanted person in England, in US. So from US, he fled to Mexico. In Mexico, you see, he founded the Communist Party of Mexico. M.N. Roy only founded. The first communist party outside Soviet Union regime, Soviet Union territory, was Communist Party of Mexico. Okay, this was the first communist party outside Soviet Union. That's why Roy became a close ally, friend, follower, and advisor of Lenin. So by the time Lenin was the leader in Russia. And you have to note that during this time, under the leadership of Lenin, Soviet Union was trying to establish communism all over the world. They wanted to spread the communism and defeat capitalism. So this is the communism capitalism history. Okay, so just leave it. So as a part of this, the Soviet Union, what they were doing is they were conducting one particular conference. That conference is called Communist International Conference, or COM Intern, Communist International, Comintern, Comintern, INTERN, COM, Comintern, Communist International. That is the expansion of this. Comintern meeting was there. So in that meeting, the important idea is how to spread communism, how to defeat England. So this was the main theme. So in that Comintern, that is an international meeting. Okay. So in that international communist meeting, communist conference, M.N. Roy submitted a thesis. So this is very, very important. Why I am telling this? Because just listen. So M.N. Roy submitted a thesis. So he said that his thesis subject is like this: how Russia can beat England, how the England communist people can overthrow the England capitalistic people and capture power in England. That means how can we defeat capitalistic England and make it a communist England. So this was the theme. So in the theme, M.N. Roy is submitting a thesis, an idea. He's telling that England is a small country, small resources. But how come this England was able to capture world countries all over the world? Okay, all world countries. See, sun never sets in England, in English Empire, like that people used to say. How this was possible for England? For that, M.N. Roy said that is because England is getting lot of resources from some foreign countries. Foreign countries means some colonial country. That means that is directly he is implying India. See, since England is having a very, very big slave called India, in England everything is available in excess, money. See, this is something like, see, some other person's ATM card is under your control. He is going and working and he is getting salary for his labor, and you are going and drawing money. So similar to that. So all the thing which India is producing, who is taking the excess? England is taking the excess. So M.N. Roy gave a simple idea. Just to cut off the relationship between England and India. If you cut off the relationship, means automatically England's excess source of surplus, what we call it a surplus, will cut down. Automatically England will lose its power. After that, easily we can overthrow the capitalistic England and we can establish communism there. So like that, this was the crux of his thesis. So that means India have to get independence, or he said that the revolution first have to start in the colonies. So in colonies, if the imperial countries lose their colonies, the capitalistic people will lose their money. So automatically they will become weak. After that, it will be easy for Russia to overthrow England. England means capitalistic England, and establish a communist England. Like that, he gave us a thesis. And this thesis is a acceptable thesis. Okay, so ultimately what happened? The Comintern accepted this and approved this. And Lenin, in principle, he gave his support to India's independence based on this thesis. and he was preparing to provide us material for the revolution, to prepare for a revolution in India against the British India. If British in England loses in India means, then England will lose in England itself. So this is the understanding. But before that could materialize, Lenin dies. So because of some natural cause. Okay. So leave that story. After that, Stalin becomes the leader. But with respect to Stalin, what happened is, terms did not go well between M.N. Roy and Stalin. See, Stalin, he is a dictator. Actually, the ultimate aim of communism is to establish a classless, stateless society. No class, no high class, no low class, no poor, no rich, like that. No class should be there. Everything will be taken by the government. Government will provide, you have to work according to your ability, you will be getting according to your need. So this is communist principle. But what happened is, to bring that communist society, in that evolution, the step before that society, we call that particular stage as dictatorship of the proletariat. That means from a downtrodden, someone will become the dictator of the country. He alone can convert the capitalistic country into a communist country. Okay, so that means the dictatorship of the proletariat is only a transitional stage. So that stage where the transition will happen. The capitalistic world will become a communist world. But what happened is, Russian Stalin, he was very happy with the dictatorship and he did not allow the communism to evolve further. So the communism did not reach the final stage, the original stage, the end. End means the target. The target is to create a classless, stateless society. So communism I am telling, never achieved that classless, stateless society, because the dictatorship of the proletariat, the penultimate stage, the people who are in charge, they were very strong and they were not in a position to allow the communism to evolve further. That's why communism failed the humanity. Actually, communism is a humanistic concept, but it failed the humanity. It is a failure idea. Why? Means because of this kind of dictators. So communism never supports dictatorship, but Stalin became a dictator. So he is going against Marxism, that means communism. That's why terms did not go well between Roy and Stalin. Again, Roy came back to India. Already he is a wanted person. We all know that he was a revolutionary. Okay, he tried to wage war against the British Indian government. So immediately he will be arrested. And inside the jail, you have to know that he will write articles. Okay, his health will deteriorate. Immediately he will be released. And immediately next day itself, he'll write after that, you have to know that he involved in non-violent protest only. He was never a revolutionary in the later stage. When he came back to India, he will write articles in the newspaper, under sedition, again he will be put in jail, again health reason he will be released, again jail, release, like that only he was there. So he saw India's independence and then only he died. 1954, I think he died. And note that, why I am telling this M.N. Roy is a great person means, in 1934, it was this M.N. Roy who first gave an idea that we should have our own constitution. Why every year we have, see, until 1934, see, suppose we take that 1857 is the starting of the Indian freedom movement, at least for the for book purpose. See, actually freedom movement started long year back, but according to North Indian historians, first war of independence is 1857 Sepoy Mutiny. Okay, so it is 1850 means until 1934. That means nearly 7 to 8 decades have gone. Nobody in India thought that we should have our own constitution, we should rule ourselves. Every time what will happen is, what is freedom movement means, British will pass some law and we people will go and protest against the British law. How can you do this? How can you bring this particular provision, change this provision, or bring this provision, or delete this provision? Like that only we were protesting against British acts and laws. So this guy said, this M.N. Roy said that why we have to fight for British law, we have to fight for bringing our own law, like that he said. So based on that idea, in 1934, M.N. Roy, first time, nobody thought this before M.N. Roy. He said that we should start our own constitution assembly and write our own constitution. Why we have to go behind British people? Immediately 1935, you have to note that Congress approved it, and they appointed Motilal Nehru, the Jawaharlal Nehru's father, to write India's first constitution, a type of constitution, mostly specifying the rights, etc. Okay. So see the greatness of, nobody ever thought that, Balaganga Tilak already said that Swaraj is my birthright, I shall have it. Like that all he said, but nobody ever thought that we have to have our own law. We should not go and fight against British law. We have to fight for our own law. So M. N. Roy. Okay. See, what I'm telling is Soviet Union also helped India in India's independence. Okay. At least in principle. Okay. Okay. See, after India got independent, Khrushchev is the Secretary General of Communist Party of Russia, Soviet Union. See, in communist countries and all, Secretary General of Communist Party is the Supremo. So Khrushchev is the Supremo. He's not the president, but the Communist Party head. He gave a open statement that Kashmir is an integral part of India. So in 1955, Soviet Union leader Khrushchev, the most powerful leader Khrushchev, he gave an open statement, Kashmir belongs to India. And note that till this second, Russia is standing behind its leader's statement. That's why whenever there is a resolution passed against India in UNSC, who supports India? Russia supports India. So within now Russia supports India. Why? Because of 1955 Khrushchev statement. So regarding Kashmir issue, Russia's stand is India's stand. So Russia supports India's stand. So that you have to note it. And you have to note that during the Cold War era, when world was divided into two poles, US camp and Soviet Union camp, you have to note that India did not join both the camp, but started non-alignment movement. Okay. So already we know in 1954, I think, US asked India to sign CENTO Treaty. India rejected it. And in return, India formed non-alignment movement. And US said that, very simple, whoever is not in my camp are all my enemies. Who are all not in my camp, who are all, so you should be my team, or you are in the enemy's team. That means US did not approve the non-alignment movement. US means the capitalistic country. The non-alignment movement, almost all countries are all third world countries. The former colonial countries in Africa, Asia, Latin America only joined this non-alignment movement. So that means, these countries were exploited by the first world countries in the last 2-3 centuries. Whether it is Southeast Asia, Asia, Africa, whatever it is, the US camp exploited these non-alignment countries. So non-alignment countries are fighting back. And socialist Russia, communist Russia is also fighting against capitalism. We are also exploited by capitalism. So that means India and the non-alignment countries had good understanding with Soviet Union. The principle is anti-colonialism, anti-imperialism. So in that both the countries are together. But US was not happy with non-alignment. So and USSR had good relation with NAM countries. And not only that, India is one of the main leader of non-alignment. So Soviet Union India relationship was smooth only by that time. But later in 1971, what happened? We slightly tilted towards Soviet Union by signing that friendship treaty. See, earlier we said we will not sign any security treaty. But in 1971, we did not sign any security treaty. But the treaty's name is Indo-Soviet Union Friendship Treaty. What is the meaning of that Indo-Soviet Union Friendship Treaty? If any third party attacks these two countries, both the countries will have military consultation. That is, this is a security treaty only. But even after India signed some friendship treaty with the superpower Soviet Union, India maintained that India is a non-alignment country. India is a non-alignment country. Okay. So again, in 1972 war, during the Chinese aggression, Russia, USSR was neutral because India is USSR friend, but China is the brother of USSR, comrades. Okay. And then in 1970, what happened is, you have to note that US and China, they became friends. Communist China and capitalistic USA, they became friends. Why? Means because in 1970, Russia and China, that means Soviet Union and China, they had some kind of misunderstanding. Who is going to be the leader of the communist world? That problem, ego problem started. Because communist Chinese communism is different from Russian communism. Chinese communism is based upon peasant revolution. Russian communism is based upon industrial labor revolution. So that you have to note. So the type of communism itself is different with respect to China and Russia. So ultimately what happened is, when China and Russia went against each other, immediately US established good relationship with China to counter Soviet Union. So that you have to note it. So that's why in 1971 India, Pakistan, Bangladesh civil war, you have to note that China, US and Pakistan were on one side. India was alone. Then India signed the Indo-Soviet Union Friendship Treaty in 1971, and this treaty ensured that China will not attack India from our northern side. If China attacks India from our northern side, who will attack China from its northern side? Soviet Union. So China was afraid, so China did not involve in 1971 war. And because Soviet Union have signed a friendship treaty with India, US also did not involve. It was a direct war between India and Pakistan. We divided the country into two based on language. So that's why, based on language, you should not do experiment or sensitive issues. But although we have experience, we only went and divided Pakistan into two countries based on language problem. But sometimes, according to the new educational policy, so now at least government have said that they are not forcibly implementing Hindi as a compulsory language. At least to some extent it is a relief, but indirectly they are doing something. Okay, so leave it. So anyway, so this is the from 1971, India and Soviet Union, we are friends. We are security partners. Okay, so earlier itself we had a good understanding. Now we have a treaty itself. But India maintained that India is a non-alignment country, because India said that non-alignment means, what is the meaning of non-alignment? Initially they said that not joining power centers, that is called non-alignment. Like that people gave a definition. But today even Jaishankar, our external affairs minister, recently he gave a statement that non-alignment means taking foreign policy based on the merit of the country. Okay, so not upon pressure from any foreign country. Like that he gave a statement. So we are having an independent foreign policy. So if any country wanted to have independent foreign policy, irrespective of the power centers problem, then we can call that country as a non-alignment country. So India is a non-alignment country today. So based on this idea, so Soviet Union became friend in 1971. And don't think that Soviet Union, out of love of India, they came to India. No, helped India. In South Asia, US presence, the US is now going to help Pakistan against India. With the help of US, Pakistan will win and US will have a strong foothold in South Asia. The balance of power in South Asia will collapse. So to neutralize the weight, Soviet Union have no other choice other than to come and help India, So that's why when Pakistan had the support of US, Russia came to the aid of India, out of necessity only. So India also needed Russia, Russia also needed India. Otherwise, if India goes into the hands of US, entire South Asia will become a zone of influence of US. This is against Russia's interest. Okay, so anyway, and then in 1990, Soviet Union collapsed. Our net security provider collapsed. Okay, and then in 1990s, already I said no big bilateral development is there. Why? Russia was in transition, and also India was also in transition, because particularly in 1990s, VP Singh government was overthrown within a year, and then Chandrasekhar government came. Chandrasekhar government, you have to note, the worst government in India, because they did nothing. They did not do anything bad. They did not do anything at all. The total currency reserves of India have depleted to $1 billion. Chandrasekhar government. And after that, what happened is Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated. Ex-Prime Minister was assassinated. So out of the sympathy wave, Congress again comes back to power with a full majority in Lok Sabha. Narasimha Rao establishes government. So, and when he came, then only we came to an understanding that our total currency reserves, the reserves we will tell that in terms of US dollars, was only $1 billion. Only $1 billion we are having it in our pocket. With $1 billion, what you will do? What you will buy it from foreign country? Medicines, petrol, diesel, or how you will pay our Indian students who are studying there in foreign countries. So India have to spend it from our pocket, no? We have to pay them in dollars. So India got into trouble by that time. So we implemented LPG policy and India recovered. So India was also in the transition stage from a closed economy. We are moving towards open economy. Political transition also there. Similarly, in Russia also it was there. And what happened is in 2000, by this time, US began to open relationship with India after 1998, 99, Kargil war, nuclear test, etc. So that we have discussed in the last class. On seeing that Russia is losing an important ally to US, Russia also, Putin, by the time Putin was the president, he immediately came to India and signed the strategic partnership agreement. See, strategic partnership agreement means an agreement which is signed based on long-term common understanding in vital areas. So in important areas like defense or trade, whatever it is, okay, if you have a long-term common understanding means those kind of agreements, we call it a strategic partnership agreement. So Russia and India, so this is something like the revival of the old 1971 agreement. Same agreement only, okay. And then as a part of this strategic partnership agreement, we are having this IRIGC, India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission. India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission. India-Russia, what is that intergovernmental? That means all the government departments of India will meet the Russia's government departments. Okay, so Intergovernmental Commission. Okay, so this is the largest ever exercise between any two countries in the world. All the departments of India will meet their Russian counterparts. And note that since this 2000 strategic partnership agreement, every year I am telling, every year we are having India-Russia summit. Every year it will be there. This year Putin is going to come to India next 2 months. Okay, so yeah, during the China-India problem, Russian president's visit to India is very, very vital. Because so you have to know that because of this, because China and Russia are partners, India and Russia are partners, and India and China are enemies. So Russia's two allies, China and India, are enemies to each other. So China is now flexing its muscles towards India. So in these circumstances, what Russia is going to do, if India engages with Russia itself, means Russia will support India. Russia will never do anything against India's interests. That is for sure. Okay, so if Russia is not doing anything against India, that is a setback for China. Okay, so we have to wait and see. And finally, what happened is in 2005 to 8, we signed Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement with US. Already we have discussed with us. When India and US were signing Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement, you have to note that both Russia tactically remained silent. Because if India-US sign an agreement, means India-US are coming very close. This is against Russia's interest, but Russia did not say anything. But when US-India Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement was signed, and when US got us a waiver from NSG, Russia immediately came to India in 2008. By the time Russian president was Dmitry Medvedev. He came to India and both India and Russia signed Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement. The Kudangkulam reactor was renewed and immediately Russia came to India, completed the reactors and started producing electricity. And next year, see every year India-Russia summit will be there. 1 year it will be in India, next year it will be hosted by Russia. Like that it is there. So in 2008, in India, Dmitry Medvedev came. In 2009, when our Prime Minister Manmohan Singh went to Russia, you have to note that both again signed another agreement regarding nuclear technology that Russia will supply unlimited uranium for an unlimited period for India. Okay, so Russia is having enormous amount of uranium, Russia will supply uranium to India. Okay, so although with many countries India have signed a Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement, only with Russia this agreement was very, very successful. Only Russia has sent us reactors. Okay, Russia is supplying us uranium. So that you have to note it. So we will take a 5 minutes break and then we'll continue. Okay. Okay. So this is how our India-Russia relationship is there. Okay. So now coming to the current trend, today's trend. Okay. So you see now during the Cold War period, India was depending upon Soviet Union. Particularly our foreign policy was under stress with respect to China, with respect to Pakistan, with respect to US, with respect to United Nations Security Council. Everything, all the Western powers were acting against India. With the help of Soviet Union help only, India was able to survive. But now you note, after 2000, you have to note that India's position with respect to world politics, with world powers, have become better. So why? Because now India is a friend of US, friend of Russia, friend of France. England also we don't have big problem. With China, although we have political issues, with respect to trade, both the countries are one of the world's largest trade partners. So we are having good relationship with West Asia also, with BRICS nation, Asian countries. So almost India's foreign policy has now developed. So now we are in a better position. That doesn't mean that we are better than Russia. But you have to note that Russia is under foreign policy trouble today. It is under pressure. Okay. See why means because, see in Russia earlier, you have to note that the Russian president term is 4 years. And in US also president term is 4 years. But a president cannot stand in election for the third term in US. Obama, he had 2 terms. After that, he have to step down. He can't become like in India, permanent president, permanent PM, permanent CM, like that and all. They will say no, like that. These things are not there in Western democracies. In US, 2 terms. Trump is going to stand in election for 1 more term. After that, he have to step down. He have no other choice. Like that in Russia, a president can stand in election only for 2 terms. That means not like that. He cannot stand in election for 3 consecutive terms. Third time he can't stand in the election. Like that it was there. So 2000 to 2004, Putin was the president. 2004 to 2008, again Putin was the president. Russia is a presidential form of government. And in 2008, again during that year, election was there. He can't again stand in election. So what he did, he made his prime minister Dmitry Medvedev as the president. And he became the prime minister of Russia. Prime minister is next to president only. But he made his loyalist Dmitry Medvedev as the president of Russia. And in 2012, what happened? See, when Putin stepped down as the president of Russia, all the Western country they just relaxed. See, this is the end of Putin. So, because under Putin, Russia has become a very strong country. He again wanted to make Russia as like a Soviet Union country. Okay, to challenge US. So he is a very strong guy. Okay, so that's why when the third term came, when Putin stepped down as president, Western countries relaxed. But in 2012, again he became the president. Why means because in Russia, the idea is 3 times a person cannot stand in election. Third time you can't stand in election. But third time he became the prime minister. And again in 2012, for the 4th term, he became the president and made his president prime minister. That means again Dmitry Medvedev became the prime minister. And then again in 2016, again another election was there. And now what happened is, in this year, they have changed the Russian constitution such that Putin will be the permanent president of Russia until 2035. 2035 means that is another 15 years. That will be the end of Putin. But after that, Putin will become an old man. Okay, so till life, president of Russia is Putin. And Russia has approved it. Okay, so this is what Putin is a very assertive leader, strong leader. He wanted to pursue Russia a realist foreign policy. Realism means power. So he wanted to make Russia a powerful country. Okay, so this is the position now. Okay, and what happened is when 2012, when again Putin was about to stand for the election, when he filed a nomination, what Western countries did, particularly US and other European countries, they gave money to the opposition party and they intervened in the Russia's election. But because of the popular support, Putin is a popular leader. He is acting like a dictator, but people accept that because only Putin can bring Russia up. Like that, the tendency is there. So what happened is, when Trump was during the first term of Trump, till 2 days before the election, everybody was thinking that Hillary Clinton is going to win. Last day, what happened is Russia intervened in US election and Trump became the president. Hillary Clinton lost the election because of Russia. They leaked some information, some emails, something. They directly involved in US election itself. Still an investigation is going on in US. That you have to note it. See, that means US intervened in Russia. That is okay. But when Russia intervened in US election, that is not okay for US. So this is always how a number one country do it. He will come and intervene in everyone's affair, but no one should come and intervene in their affairs like that. Anyway, so this is the position. So now what happened is, because of this three issues, US is very angry with Russia. Syrian crisis. So we all know that US wanted to overthrow Syria. But who is supporting Syria? Putin. So that is the reason why US for 10 years since 2010 wanted to overthrow Bashar al-Assad. But US was not able to do that. US was not able to do that. But now that means US it proves that it is not a powerful country after this Syrian episode. So even US tried to pass a resolution against Syria in United Nations when Syria used chemical weapons. We have discussed that before. But who vetoed it? Russia vetoed it. That means until Russia backs Syria, US cannot do anything it wants in Syria. But US is this shows US weakness. That means although US is number one, it cannot do whatever it wants. So this is the understanding. So, but US was not able to do against Russia in Syria because what US is doing in Syria is not acceptable. Coming and intervening in other countries' political problem and overthrowing the leader, that should not be the case. So that's why when Russia supports Syria, US was not able to do anything. And like that, US also wanted to overthrow, undermine Iran, but Iran is having very good friendship with Russia. But here also, US was not able to contain Russia and not to allow Russia to help Iran. Okay, so US is helpless. Russia is backing both Syria and Iran to some extent against US interests. So that you have to note. So in these two issues, Russia is helping these two countries against US interests, but US is not in a position to put restrictions on Russia. So this is the third issue. The issue is called Crimean issue. We are going to discuss this. So when Russia did something in Crimea, world countries put economic sanction against Russia. Okay. So now today Russia's relationship with West, that is West Europe and US, is not good. It is coming down. The relation is coming down. Okay. And Western countries have put economic sanction because of Russia's involvement in Crimean crisis. Okay, Russia is under trouble, but it is a strong country. Nobody can beat Russia. So that you have to note it. It's very difficult to beat Russia. So that you have to note it. You can't go and beat Russia in Russia. Already many people tried this. I can give you two examples. Napoleon Bonaparte was the supreme of the entire Europe. He waged war with Russia and got defeated. That was the fall of Napoleon Bonaparte. See, Napoleon means the entire Europe will shiver. But when they try to attack Russia, Napoleon Bonaparte with a big army, he sent his army to Russia. In Russia, if you go and fight Russia in Russia, means what Russian soldiers will do? They won't attack you. They won't face the opponent. They will allow the opponent to enter into the country. Mother Russia itself will kill those people. Because Russia's climate is such that no one can live in that particular climate except Russians. If you wanted to go and beat Russia in Russia, means the Russian climate will kill the enemies. So the soldiers cannot withstand Russian cold. It is minus 30, 40, 25 degree, means who will live in that? So the enemy army, Napoleon Bonaparte army, returned back. While returning back, Russian army will come and attack them. And by the time the enemy army came out of Russian border, you have to note that nobody was there. The same thing happened to Hitler. Who defeated Hitler? US and England claims it, but actually Russia only defeated Hitler. Battle of Stalingrad. You have to know that Russia only defeated Hitler. Okay, so like that, no, and even if you see what I'm telling is, if you are sending US soldiers, US tanks, US rifles, US rockets, whatever it is, in that type of climate in Russia, it won't function. Okay, so in cold climate and all, the performance of the equipments will go down. So that's why Russian equipments are always superior. US guns and all will not fire in Russia. So like that, some technical problems are just so don't take this very seriously. But what I'm telling is, in Russia, the point is, in Russia, nobody can defeat Russia. Okay, so that's why Western country unilaterally, this is not a United Nations sanction, it is a unilateral sanction on Russia. So West and America said that we won't have any trade relationship with Russia. Okay, so because of Russia's involvement in Crimean crisis. See, what is Crimean crisis? I will tell you. So this and all, they won't ask questions. But in order to understand what is happening between US and Russia, you should know this. And particularly, India's position is how to balance our relationship between Russia and US. So in this context, we have to closely watch the US-Russia Cold War. Now also the Cold War is there. Earlier the Cold War was between US and Soviet Union. Now the Cold War is between US and Russia. They will not directly fight with each other, but in every issue they will be in the opposite side. So that is Cold War. So in order to understand the Cold War between US and Russia, this Crimean issue is very, very important. You have to understand this. They won't ask this in exam. But if you don't know this means, then no meaning in reading India-Russia, India-US relationship. Okay. So just briefly I will tell you, Crimean crisis. See, this is Russia, today's Russia. So this is Ukraine. So this part, this is the Crimea, this is called peninsula. This belongs to Ukraine. Okay. So you have that Crimea is an autonomous region, but not a sovereign one. Sovereign one means it is not independent. Autonomous means self-governing Ukrainian territory. Okay, so that means Crimea belongs to Ukraine. So this is Black Sea. And already we know that Russia is having a naval base in Mediterranean Sea, in Syria, Tartus, this territory. So you have to note that Russia is having a naval fleet called, in Black Sea, called Black Sea Fleet. So in here they have Black Sea Fleet, a naval command. Okay, you have to note that Russia's Black Sea Fleet is the most aggressive navy in the world, and Russia's Black Sea Fleet only is having the naval base in Syria, in Mediterranean Sea. And already we know very well, if a country wanted to be a superpower, means the country should have access to military access to Mediterranean Sea, because this is the tri-junction. This is Mediterranean Sea. You can go to Africa, you can go to Asia, you can also involve in European politics. You can easily mobilize your forces if that is the case, means. So that's why Russia is completely backing Syria. That everybody we know. So in Syrian border we have Russian Black Sea Fleet's naval base. But it was very unfortunate for Russia that the Black Sea Fleet's home base is not in Russia. So this is Black Sea Fleet. Here only the Russian ships are standing. Although Russia is having border with the Black Sea, no port is there in Black Sea for Russia. Because wherever you have, see, that doesn't mean that you can have port. See, for example, I am telling, take the east coast of India. So, Thoothukudi port. Then Chennai port. Then you have Ennur port. Then Vizag port. Then Paradip, Orissa. And then you have Kolkata port, Haldia port. Only 4 or 5 ports are there in the east. Although we have a very big coastline. Why only 4 or 5 ports are there? Because you can't have ports wherever you want. See, if you wanted to have a harbor port, means some naturally some conditions are required. the geographical conditions are required. Wherever we want, we can't make a port. Okay, so you have that although this Russia is having borders with Black Sea, Russia's naval fleets doesn't have a port there in Russia. That means, see, this is Russia, this is Russia. It is having borders with Black Sea. This is Black Sea, but no port is there. Russia's Black Sea port is in Crimea. That port is called Sevastopol. This is Sevastopol. So that means Russia's main port is in another country, in Black Sea. So this is the important thing you have to understand. Russia is a powerful country because of Black Sea fleet. But Russia's Black Sea fleet doesn't have its own port in Black Sea, because although they have borders, no port is available in Russian border. So Russia's Black Sea fleet's home port is Sevastopol. Sevastopol is in Crimea. Crimea is an autonomous region, separate parliament is there, self-governing state, but it is not a sovereign one. Crimea belongs to Ukraine. It is an autonomous region, but under Ukraine. So in Crimea, Sevastopol port is there. By Soviet Union, that means earlier under Soviet Union, Ukraine belonged to Soviet Union, no problem was there. In 1990, when there was a split in Soviet Union, Western country mischievously ensured that Crimea will not belong to US. If Crimea belongs to US means, the Sevastopol port is 100 years long, 200, 300 years, this is the port. Because of that only Russia is a powerful country. Because all the other ports of Russia are only in the northern side of Russia, which is in the North Pole. So during the winter season, what will happen in North Pole? North Pole will freeze. It will be full of ice. Northern sea will be ice. Southern pole is continent. Northern pole is water. It is Arctic Sea. Arctic Sea will become a continent, ice-based floating continent. Ships cannot pass. But Russian ships, specialized ships, ice breakers are required. Through that only we can go through. We can break the ice and then you can sail. Otherwise, icebergs will float. It will come and damage the ship. Okay. So the point is, if Russia doesn't have this Black Sea fleet, means doesn't have this Sevastopol, means Russia's all other ports will be in the northern side of Russia. If any problem is there in Mediterranean Sea or Black Sea, whatever it is, by the time Russia starts its naval force, circle across the entire Europe, England, Baltic Sea, and through Gibraltar, if they enter Mediterranean Sea, by the time the entire problem will be over. Because among the three armed forces, you have to note that naval force is the most laziest force. It will move very slowly but steadily. If you can mobilize your naval force, means using that you can do. Air force you can quickly mobilize, but air force is not efficient for long distance war. So through your navy, you have to mobilize your air force there, and from there you can strike, means quickly you can do lot of things. Otherwise, air force will get into trouble. So this is the strategy. So that's why maintaining the Sevastopol port is crucial for Russia. That means if Russia loses Sevastopol port, means Russia loses its Black Sea fleet. If Russia loses Black Sea fleet, means Russia cannot maintain its dominance in Mediterranean Sea, that Syrian port and all. If Russia's navy's presence is not there in Mediterranean Sea, means I am telling Russia is a dummy power. So that's why what Western country did, they did some mischief. Because of that only this Crimean problem came. So you can understand. So Russia desperately needs Sevastopol port. Sevastopol port is in Crimea. Crimea belongs to Ukraine. But they have signed some agreement some years before. Based on that, Russia is keeping its naval base there in Sevastopol port. Okay. So this is the understanding. So now you see in Syria other ports are also there. Simferopol airport is there. Sevastopol airport is there. Military bases are there. All belongs to Russia. Okay, this is Ukraine. It is a peninsula. Okay. See, what happened is, during the Cold War, before 1990, all these countries, including particularly Ukraine, Crimea, Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Georgia, so all these countries belongs to Soviet Union. In 1990, when Soviet Union split, these countries became independent republics. Okay. And what happened is, this is NATO. Here only NATO is there. This is Russia. So Russia and NATO, particularly Russia, doesn't want direct borders with NATO. Direct borders means what will happen? Conflict will be there. To avoid that, Russia want all the former Soviet Union republics as buffer zones. No, so see, if suppose India and China doesn't have any border, means India and China have no choice or no chance to fight with each other, because we are having borders. We have disputed borders. That's why we have boundary dispute, we are fighting with each other. If Tibet might have been an independent country, India and China will have no problem. But because already we know, neighbors are our enemies. So that's why Russia doesn't want direct borders with NATO. So these are all former Soviet Union countries. These countries are have to be buffers between big Russia and the big NATO powers. Okay. But what, see this was during, that means before Cold War, this is after Cold War. So during the Cold War, this is Soviet Union. So there was a gentleman agreement between the two people that Soviet Union will not expand eastwards. That means the new Russia will not expand eastwards, and NATO should not expand, Soviet Union will not expand westwards. The NATO powers will not expand eastwards. But what happened is, these NATO countries, slowly they began to pull one country from that side to this side. So now Russia is having direct borders with NATO powers. And not only that, these NATO countries, US and West European countries, they have installed missiles and missile shields all over these countries. And at last, when they tried to do this with Ukraine, Russia did not remain silent. When NATO countries were trying to do with these countries, Russia did not do anything. It was closely watching. When Western countries tried to pull Ukraine into their camp, Russia acted very firmly. So this is what Russia did. So this European Union and US wanted to pull Ukraine into their camp. Big bear Russia did not remain silent. What it did, it simply annexed Crimea as a part of Russia and left Ukraine to join Western countries. Because Russia's interest in Ukraine is Sevastopol port, Crimea. So Russia cannot lose Crimea, particularly the Sevastopol port. If Russia loses Sevastopol port, means Russia will become a dummy power. That's why, this is the reason why they wanted to pull Ukraine into their camp. Okay, so by signing some kind of agreements. If Ukraine signs some kind of agreement with Western powers, Ukraine, along with Crimea, will become a friend of, that means will become a part of NATO. So this is the understanding. And automatically Russia will lose the Sevastopol port. So Russia cannot afford that. So that's why when these countries pulled Ukraine into their camp, this Crimea is now annexed by Russia. So this is Crimean crisis. Then how the people of Crimea will react, I will tell you. See, this is Ukraine map, this is Crimea. The blue territory is there, no? This Ukrainian territory. There people speak Russian language. People are Russian origin people. And in Crimea, everybody, a Russian population itself is there. Not only the people speak Russian language, the people are also Russian people only. See, when in 1990, when Soviet Union split, Crimea was deliberately given to Ukraine. Because Western country doesn't want Crimea to be a part of Russia. Because Crimea, you have to note that if it is a part of Russia, means Russia will again become powerful. Otherwise, Russia is a weak country. So, but the people of Crimea protested against this. They said that we like to remain only with Russia, because we are all same people only. Why are you taking away from my country and then you are giving it to Ukraine? Ukrainian is a separate group of people, separate race. That means separate clan. Okay. So against the interest of the Crimean population, Crimea was given to Ukraine. That's why in Crimea, the administration was a autonomous administration. But Ukraine, Kyiv is the capital. Kyiv is the capital. That means Ukraine is the authority. But here in Crimea, separate parliament itself is there. Crimean population are Russian populations who speak Russia. And also in the southern part of Ukraine, you have to note that all these people will speak Russian language only. So that means they are also supporters of sympathizers of Russia. So that you have to note it. So now what happened is, see, this is the population demography. That means demography of Crimea. 58.5% of the population today, they are Russian population itself. They are not just any other population, they are Russian itself. Only 24% is Ukrainian population in Crimea. And some other people are there. Tartars are there. Tartars are the remains of Ottoman empires. So in the First World War, Tartars, that means Ottoman Empire were defeated, no? The empire itself collapsed. And during the Second World War, this Tartars sided with Germany against Russia. Although Crimea was with Russia, the Tartars who are living in Crimea, they were supporting Germany. That's why Russia and Stalin drove away all the Tartars out of Crimea. So that's why in Crimea, majority population are Russian population. So maybe, okay. So that means majority of the people itself, 2/3 of the population itself are Russian population. That's the point. Okay. And then what happened is, actually what happened is, Ukraine by the time had a lot of loans. Western countries said that, you sign a deal with me, I will help you, they will waive off all the loans. Like that they had an understanding. So when Ukraine was about to sign a deal with NATO, one night before that, Ukraine signed a deal with Putin, Russia. Because Russia know very well that we should not allow Ukraine to sign a deal with NATO. Okay, so this is a commercial loan waiver, like that, some agreement. So, but what happened? Russia said that I will give all the money, but don't join the opposite camp. If you are joining opposite camps, then it is a trouble for Russia. Then I won't accept trouble, so then I will make trouble for you. Like that, Russia pressurized. So Ukrainian president also, out of the loan problem only, he was not able to do anything. He wanted to remain neutral because Russia is, he favors Russia only. So finally, Crimea signed a deal with Russia. Western country got into trouble. So what Western countries did is, they gave money to the opposition party and overthrown the Ukrainian president leader. His name is Viktor Yanukovych. Viktor Yanukovych government was overthrown. So no need to know all this name, okay? Just I'm telling, okay? So no need to remember all these names, okay? So Viktor Yanukovych government was overthrown. So what happened is, there was a revolt, and the opposition party through revolution they captured power in Kyiv. So immediately, what this is Crimea, this is Ukraine. So the Viktor Yanukovych, what he did is, he fled to Crimea because he know very well that the people of Crimea will favor Russia only. So what happened is, when Viktor Yanukovych came to Crimea, in Crimea, pro-Russian protest started. And the Crimean parliament passed a resolution and conducted a referendum. In that referendum, 96.8% of the people who voted in the referendum, they were in favor of joining Russia. So after this referendum was passed, Crimean parliament signed an agreement with Russia. So the Treaty of Accession was signed. Russian army was sent to Crimea. Crimea formally became a part of Russia. So this is what happened. Western countries went furious. Ukraine lost Crimea now. Now Crimean parliament signed a deal with Russia and Putin. So Ukraine now lost Crimea. Western country is not accepting it. They blame that Russia annexed Crimea, which is a part of Ukraine. But Western countries are giving a different version. What Western countries are telling is, see, what originally happened is, Viktor Yanukovych, he was about to sign a deal with European countries, West European countries. But one day before, he signed a deal with Russia. So Western country went furious. They ignited some problem. They created some problem by supporting the opponents of Viktor Yanukovych. So they overthrown that particular government. Viktor Yanukovych fled to Crimea. In Crimea, immediately pro-Russian protest started. And in Crimea, what they did is, they conducted a referendum. In the referendum, 96.8% of the people favored joining Russia. With Russia, Crimean parliament signed a Treaty of Accession. So automatically, Russian army was sent to Crimea. Crimea became a part of Russia. So this is the order. But what Western countries are telling is, Western countries are telling that it was Russia who first sent its army in Crimea. Based on Russian army presence in Crimea, the people of Crimea was forced to vote like this. That's why the referendum result is like this. It is not a free referendum, free and fair referendum. Russian army threatened the people and tampered the election process, the referendum process, and voted like this. After that only Treaty of Accession was signed. But Putin is telling, first Treaty of Accession was signed, then only I sent my army. But Western countries are telling, no, first you sent your army, then only this treaty was signed. So, but Putin finally said that you take whatever you want. Here afterwards, Crimea is mine. If you want means you come and take it. Like that, Russia finally gave a statement. That means Russia is openly challenging the Western country, US and West European countries, that Crimea is mine. Even you take, yes, I only annexed Crimea. What is for that? Like that, Putin is telling. Because and you have to note that all the supporters of Russia are supporting in Russia only. The neutral countries are also supporting Russia. Only the Western country and Western country media only going against Russia's this. They are telling that this is annexation, not a treaty of accession. Accession means voluntarily going and joining that other country. So Russia annexed a part of Ukraine, like that they said. Ukraine parliament has passed a resolution that Crimea, which is a Ukrainian territory, is temporarily under the occupation of Russia. So Russia occupied Crimea. Now we are telling, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, like that. Russia occupied Crimea, like that only they are telling it. But Russia is very clear. Here afterwards, if you want Crimea means, you have to come and defeat me. Nobody, everybody knows this. See, why this is, that means, why I am telling this, because why the neutral countries are also went against Western countries' stand is because Crimea is the national interest of Russia. Already in a foreign policy, in the class 1 itself, I said, to protect your national interest, you can't do anything. You can do any action. See what Russia have done? See, Crimea, Sevastopol port is my primary national interest. I can't afford to lose Crimea and Sevastopol. The Western country, particularly, they are doing mischief against me. Ukraine and Russia doesn't have any problem, but Western country only what they did? They came and created problem here. So that's why I had no choice other than to annex Crimea. If Western country did not involvement, we will be going peacefully only. Already with a peaceful agreement only, Ukraine and Russia has accepted Sevastopol port as a part of Russia. So this Crimea is now a part of Russia. See, don't think that Crimean issue is not the issue of this century. Nearly for 3-4 centuries, Crimean wars and all you might have heard. In the medieval world, Crimean wars fought between Russian Empire, Austria-Hungary, Ottoman Empire, France, England, like that. Frequently war will be there. Because Russia heavily depend upon this Crimea. Without Crimea, Russia is a dummy one. Okay? And Western countries should not have done this mischief. So this is the understanding. So Russia said that I can't do anything. You are coming and affecting my primary national interest. Primary national interest, how can I leave it? That's why I have every right to take Crimea. All the supporters of Russia and the neutral countries are also accepting this. Because you leave no choice to Russia other than to annex this. Even Russia really annexed that, no issue. Russia will do that because you only provoked Russia to do that. Like that, so that's why the Western countries, they have unilaterally put sanction against Russia. So you can understand. So this is Crimean issue. And then you see this is how the vote was there. Referendum, yes means Crimea is Russia. No means Crimea is not Ukrainian. Either side you put vote, Crimea will become Russia. So this is the understanding. So in front, that means behind, that means who is behind the voters? This is the Crimean people. This is Russian soldiers. So Russian soldiers are in the referendum. So this is how they say that the referendum was there. You can understand. So referendum was manipulated. That's why 98% of the people supported joining Russia. Like that, Western countries are telling. Russia is telling whether it is manipulated, not manipulated, genuine election, free and fair election. That and all not an issue. Crimea, Sevastopol port is my basic primary interest. I can't afford to lose that. Russia is ready for war. Anybody wanted war means you come and get it. So this is what Russia is telling. So the idea is, even though whose Crimea is, that and all not a matter. You should not go and affect the national interest of another country. If you go and affect the national interest of another country means, the other country will do everything in its power to protect its national interest. So this is the classic example. So we can clearly say that in the national interest of Russia, Crimean port, that is Sevastopol port, belongs to Russia. Without that port, Russia cannot survive. See, don't think that this is just because of military. Other imports of Russia is coming through Black Sea only. To protect the trade route, Russia have to ensure the safety of the goods, okay, through the Black Sea fleet. If Russian Black Sea fleet is not there in Black Sea means, then obviously Russian trade route also is compromised. Otherwise, Russia have to import only through the northern ports, which is not possible. That is not good for Russia. So Russia have no choice. You left me with no choice. Like that Russia is telling. Okay. So that's why what happened? Either side, the people vote. Crimea is going to be Russia. Russia ensured that. Some people say that it is a fake referendum. But actually, the Crimean people also wanted to join Russia. That is on one side. Russia is telling, this is not the matter of fake or real, genuine one. I have genuine interest. This is Sevastopol port is very, very, very important to me. I will do anything to take that. So this is what Russia said. Put it very clear in that. No negotiation. If you want Crimea means, that means the Sevastopol port means, in order to ensure Sevastopol port, I will have Crimea. If anybody want Crimea, whether it is Ukraine or US, whatever whichever country it is, you come and get it. This is what Russia is telling. So what Russia said, if you scratch my back means, I will scratch yours. This Ukraine should not, the Ukrainian, the overthrown, the new leaders are there, no, they should not have done this. That's why Russia annexed Crimea. Okay. So Crimea cut down its relationship with Ukraine and extended its friendship with, not friendship, now Crimea belongs to Russia. And see, what is the meaning of this? Tampered referendum. This is how Western country thinks. See, if you read all Indian media, Asian media, African media, how they approach this issue is completely different from BBC, CNN, other US-based, Europe-based medias. They will say that Russia was an aggressor. African, Asian, and other media, Indian media, and all, they will say that in the interest of Russia, like that they will say. Okay. So this is what happened. So Crimea now cut off from Ukraine. Now Crimea has now become a part of Russia. Now Crimea has become a part of Russia. And this is Syrian crisis. So this is Bashar al-Assad. This is our Putin. This is the Western countries. Western country wanted to overthrow Bashar al-Assad, but who is not allowing? Who is backing Bashar al-Assad? Russia and Putin. Okay. And what happened when this is Russia? When Russia annexed Crimea, what US did? US put sanctions on Russia. Okay. So now all the Western country, particularly US, they have put sanctions on Russia. They have put sanctions on Russia. So Russia is under economic sanction today. Unilateral sanction. This is not a United Nations sanction. United Nations sanction is not possible against a P5 country. Russia is a P5 country. It itself is having veto. So that's why whenever China is doing some mischief, other countries doesn't have any anything to do in United Nations to put pressure on China. See, outside, that means in United Nations. So outside United Nations only they have to form alliance and contain China. So this is the present situation. So now Russia, so see, this is Russia's petro economy. Russia mainly depending upon petroleum products, oil and gas, and mostly it exports everything to European countries, including Ukraine. Russia is supplying them at a cheaper cost, cheaper price. Now, because of this economic sanction, you have to note that nobody buys oil and gas from Russia. So now Russia's economy is under trouble. Nobody is having oil trade with Russia. Even Russia is ready to supply oil and trade at a cheaper price. They are not ready to supply. Okay. So Russian economy is coming down. So this is the understanding. So it is said that Russia is losing approximately $100 billion every year because of the Western countries' sanction on Russia. So Russia is under trouble. Zero growth rate, high inflation, ruble means the Russian currency, devaluation. So this is what Russia is doing. but yet Russia is surviving. It is a big country to be contained. It is not easy to contain Russia. It is not easy to contain Russia. So this is what happening. This is what that means Russia is telling, I will survive. So to see, now Russia wanted to sell its oil and gas for its money, for its trade. It's mainly depending upon oil and gas. Russia's customer is not now buying in Russia. So what Russia is now doing is, Russia has announced, Putin has announced Russia's look east policy. Russia's look east policy. That is RIC. Because two of the Russia's eastern neighbors, India and China, highly depending upon oil imports. Two countries. These two countries doesn't have oil and gas. And these two countries are rapidly developing countries. That also you should know. So in that circumstance, Russia is a supplier of oil and gas. India and China are the world's largest oil and gas importers and energy hungry countries. Okay, so now Russia wanted to supply to India and China. So now we have to find out, Russia is now depending upon India and China to resist the Western powers. So in this circumstances only, now what is happening? India and Russia, we are fighting with each other. We are fighting against each other. This is what happening. So if India and China are fighting with each other, means it is a setback for Russia. So this you have to keep it. So in its fight against Western country, Russia is heavily depending upon India and China. The friends and India and China are also having a common understanding against Western country. So that's why this RIC, the expansion of this RIC only, BRICS. So already I said, what is the importance of BRICS? Brazil and South Africa are the two extra countries. Okay. The ultimate idea of BRICS is to counter the Western influence, because world politics and world economy are dominated by Western countries. So this is what happening. So ultimately, you have to note that Russia depends upon India and China to counter West. So now India and China, we doesn't like each other. So Russia is under trouble now. See, Russia needs China, Russia needs India. So this is the position. Okay, so in Russia's interest, India and China should not fight with each other. So this is Russia's clear-cut position. Then only Russia can counter Western pressure. So this is the understanding. So now we have to find out, if Russia needs India and China, no doubt in that. In its priority list, India and China are there. Top priorities, India and China. If you want to dig further, means we have to find out which is number 1 and which is number 2. So Russia priority list is there, means India, China are there. Which is number 1 and which is number 2? That we have to find out. See, India is a reliable country, and India never went against Russia at any point of time in the history. We have very good friendship, and Russia helped India before, and this is time to repay back to Russia. So and not only that, India is a energy hungry country. India is the Russia's largest defense partner, security partner. Everything Russia and India are together, so no issue is there. And with respect to China, China is also energy hungry country. China and Russia are not that means Russia cannot rely on China. Why? Means because sometime in the history China went against Russia. So already we discussed now 1970s. China went against Russia. Who is going to be the leader of the communist world? So that problem was there. So and note that Russia and China both are powerful countries, 2 and 3, number 2 and number 3. So two powerful countries, two giant means they will fight against each other. So that means in one place only one power center should be there. Two power centers means what will happen? Both will fight with each other. But even if India becomes a superpower tomorrow, India will never do anything against Russia, because we don't have any intention. Our interests never clash. Okay, so even though we are friendly with the US, our relationship with Russia is intact. That means we wanted to maintain our relationship. Yeah, growing India is good for Russia, but a growing powerful China is not good for Russia. So in that circumstances, we can come to an understanding that Russia needs a strong India and India's friendship. But today, you have to note that Russia needs more China than India. That you have to note it. Russia needs, this is Russia. Russia needs more China than India. Why? Means because Russia's number one problem today is to counter West, to counter USA. To counter USA, who can be the best partner for Russia? India or China? Definitely China only. And China also doesn't like US. Russia also doesn't like US. So for China and Russia, number one issue is US. So Russia needs more China than India. India is today is in the second place only for Russia. Although we are relevant, we are that means India and Russia we can trust each other. But even though Russia cannot trust China, Russia needs more China than India. So that is what I am telling. That's why clearly we can say that China, this is China. China has overtaken India. China has overtaken India in Russian foreign policy. Okay, that means Russia today, for immediate survival, they need China. If China is not supporting Russia, means Russia will be cornered. Russia will be outlawed. Outlawed means already, see, earlier it was G8. Russia was purposely thrown out of G8. Now G8 is now G7 only. Now only the US president has said that he is going to expand. They are going to call India, South Korea and Russia. G7 is going to be G10 or 11, like that he is telling. But anyway, Russia is already cornered. And not only that, in United Nations Security Council, even in United Nations Security Council, 5 power centers are there, P5 countries. Always Russia is cornered. Russia has veto power. But Russia needs partners there in United Nations Security Council also. So Russia, until India becomes a full member in United Nations Security Council, Russia have to depend upon China only. So Russia have no choice. And China is also a neighboring country, oil hungry country. So Russia can sell its oil and gas to China. So China, you have to know, I mean China is a neighboring country, oil hungry country. So automatically Russia today prefers China over India. Both countries, although both countries are important, number one country is China, number two is India. Okay, so obviously China had an edge over Russian foreign policy. That you have to note it. Or we can conclude like this. See, this is how you see. This is the position, but we should not accept that Russia needs more China. Like that, that is not good. Russia and India are very close allies. We are reliable countries. India is a reliable country to Russia. Russia is a reliable country to India. So in that circumstances, we can't simply say that Russia needs China. So how, see in answer how we can write, I will tell you. In short term interest, Russia needs China. Today Russia needs China. In medium term and long term interest, Russia needs India to be a strong country. In long term and medium term interest, India is number one position. But today, short term, China is number one to India, to Russia. So that you have to write. Okay. So in Russia's priority list, India and China are there. Short term list, China is rank 1, India is rank 2. In medium term and long term list, that priority list, India is number 1, China is number 2, or China may not be there in long term interest. Because once China become number 1 country, after that what China will do? It will flux its muscles with China also. I mean with Russia also. Russia know this. So that means a rising China is not good for Russia. A rising India is good for Russia. See, already we have discussed a similar point like this. In the new grade game, Russia doesn't need oil and gas from Middle East and Central Asia. Russia also doesn't want oil and gas, this oil and gas to be exploited by US nor China. Because both are Russia's competitors. But if India takes that, means Russia doesn't have any problem, Russia will encourage that. So this is Russia's position with India. But tomorrow, if you are speaking about tomorrow and day after tomorrow, for that you have to first survive today. That's why for Russia, in this junction, in this point, China is important than India. See, but it won't take choice. But against China, we can't use Russia. That is the position. See, the point is very simple. The discussion is, if India, China goes for a war today, who will support whom? Definitely US will support India. And who will support China today? 100% is Pakistan. And now Iran is also may support China. So although we can neutralize the Iran, neutralize means we also can develop a relationship with Iran. Now our relationship has been strained because of our delay tactics. So ultimately we can do something with Iran, but yet Iran, Pakistan, China axis can be formed. Okay, Nepal also is with China, but along with India, all the Western powers will be there, particularly US, France, and to some extent England also. Okay, Russia, what it will do is it will remain neutral. It won't join. If it is between India and China, means Russia will not join both the camps, because if two countries are fighting with each other, means it is against Russia's interest. So what Russia obviously will do, Russia will try to convince both the parties. That's why in RIC, even though 20 of our soldiers died, online this webinar RIC meeting was there. Russia, India, China, External Affairs Ministry meeting was there. And before this year end, there is going to be some meeting there in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Russia is going to convene RIC conference, Russia, India, China conference. So it is in the interest of Russia to see to that China and India will not fight with each other. That means if China is about to have a war with India, it is against Russia's interest. So that means we can use Russia to convince to have a settlement with Russia. Settlement means I am not talking about border settlement. To diffuse any tight situation, warlike situation means Russia will mediate. Because Russia, so that means against China, we can use Russia to mediate with China, and to fight with China, we can use US. So this is India's position. So like this only question can be asked. So US can be useful to India to counter China, okay, to go against China. But Russia can be useful for India to sign a peace deal, truce deal, or some kind of compromise with China. Okay, if both the countries, the situation between both the countries going very bad to us. So this is the position of Russia. So in the interest of Russia, Russia will ensure that India and China will not fight with each other. They will not fight with each other. Okay. So this is India. This is with respect to India, Russia, China. And see, immediately after that, Russia and China have signed a $400 billion. Don't write all this. Just see this map. Just write like China have signed a $400 billion deal with Iran. Earlier itself, with respect to Russia, China and Russia have signed $400 billion gas deal. Okay, this is called Atlai project. So this side only Atlai mountains is there. This is called Atlai project. AALTA, Atlai project. So that means from 2018. That means since 2 years back. For the next 30 years, Russia is going to supply oil and gas to China. Okay. And the other thing is, even if Russia wanted to sell oil and gas to other country, selling oil and gas to China is easier than selling to India. Again, because of the transit route, transit distance. And with respect to China, see, this is China. This is Russia. So they have direct borders. They have direct borders. There is no need for any third country's approval to put an oil and gas pipeline between Russia and China. So that you have to note it. But if Russia have to send its oil and gas to India, it has to cut through China. India doesn't like this. Okay. So anyway, a $400 billion. See, when Russia was under recession, immediately a $400 billion deal was signed between Russia and India. Okay. So this is one. Okay. And then this is called West-East gas pipeline. This yellow line is Atlai gas pipeline. This green one is West-East pipeline. That is Chinese pipeline. So through this Atlai project, Russian oil and gas is coming to China. That you have to know. So today, so that means the final word is, today China is more useful to Russia than India. That's the point. But tomorrow and day after tomorrow, medium term and long term, India will be the reliability is important. Long term friendship you need means reliability is important. Short term means Even though untrustworthy people also, we have to have some relationship. So out of that means the conditions of that particular day. Okay. So now in this juncture, we have to find out. So this is the position of India, Russia, India and Russia. So now we have to find out what Russia expects from India and what India expects from Russia and what India did. First you write what Russia is expecting from India. You write it. You write Russia's expectation from India. 1, 2, 3. I will tell you. What Russia today wants from India. That is the heading. What Russia expects from India. 1. Russia is keen to, keen, K-E-N, keen. Keen means very important, very, it is giving more importance. Okay, attention. Okay, Russia is keen to remain as India's #1 defense partner. That means Russia wanted to remain as India's #1 defense partner. India's #1 defense partner. Why? Means because nowadays India is diversifying our defense needs. We are buying it from Israel. We have signed a security deal with defense deals with the US. But Russia today also is #1. But its share in Indian defense market is slowly coming down. So Russia says that at any day, I wanted to be your #1 partner. So this is what Russia wants. This is #1, what Russia wants from India. And then two, Russia may need India's human resources. India's human resources. And then 3. So because Russia is having a declining population, India, what is the thing abundantly we are having is population only and skilled population. We can send it to Russia. Okay. So Russia after some years may need people to work for Russia. That India can supply. Russia needs India's market for its engineering products. Okay. So they need our market. That is third thing, what Russia expects from India. They need the big market. Okay, so Russia needs India's big market, and Russia also needs India's pharmaceutical products, pharma products, medicines. See, Russia is having an aged population, and pharmaceutical sector has been completely under the domination of US and European countries. The only other pharmaceutical giant in the world is India only. Only India and US-based companies. So that you have to note it. So they need our market, they need our population, they need our pharma products. And most importantly, they wanted to remain as #1 defense partner of India. So this is what Russia wants from India. And then write what India is expecting from Russia. What we want from Russia, you write it. What we want from Russia. One, we want Russia's continued support in UNSC, United Nations Security Council. We want Russia's continued support. Already they were giving. Now we want that continuation. We want Russia's continued support in UNSC, United Nations Security Council. We want Russia's continued support in UNSC. And then 2, under Make in India program. So we are having Make in India, a program. We want, under Make in India program, we want Russian defense companies. We want Russian defense companies to send their, we want Russian defense companies to send their investment and technology and produce defense equipments in India and sell it to the world. That means we want Russian investment and technology in Indian defense sector, like that you write. In Indian defense sector, we want Russian investment and technology. See, the question is, To start a company, all you need is finance and then technology. If Russia has both the things, then why they have to come and invest in India? Why they have to come and invest in India? See, in India, we have cheap labor. That is one thing. And then two, exporting from India will be easy than exporting from Russia. So that's the reason. So now we have signed a lot of projects that we will discuss afterwards. Okay. And then we need, third one is we need services, spares and upgradation of Russian origin equipments. We need services, spares and upgradation for Russian origin equipments. Russian origin equipments. Russian origin equipments. Because 80% of our equipments are Russian origin. See, that has to be periodically serviced, upgraded. Okay, and not only that, we need spares also. We need ammunition like that spares. So Russia only can supply that. If that is the reason why we need Russia. We can't completely cut off our relationship with Russia. Even if US is ready to give you everything, we can't simply cut off our relationship with Russia. 80% of the defense equipments what we have accumulated in the last 78 years, we can't phase out and buy it from US. It will take nearly 40-50 years to do that. Heavy investment is required. So we are completely relying on some more decades. We can't until we become self-reliant. Okay, so we need Russian support for servicing, spares and also for upgradation for Russian origin weapons. And then we need Russia support. Russia can support us in energy sector. One oil and gas, two nuclear energy. So Russia in energy sector. Oil and gas and nuclear energy. So nuclear energy, they are doing it. Oil and gas, if we need it means they will do it. Because gas is available from our neighborhood. That's why we are not buying it from Russia. If nobody is supplying us means Russia will definitely supply. And then we need ISRO needs support from Roscosmos, Russian Space Agency. So now two of our astronauts are going to the space. In Russia only they are taking practice. That means training. Already Rakesh Sharma, the first Indian to enter into space, was sent by Russians only, Russian Roscosmos only. That happened during Indira Gandhi's period. High-end engineering products. Russia is also superior in producing engineering products. So these are all the things we expect from Russia. See, now also you see, Russia is under trouble. We are in a fine position with respect to foreign policy and defense, finance position, etc. But yet, now also we expect more from Russia than what Russia is expecting from India. So this is India's position. Russia is a very mighty country. And why China is, in another reason I forgot to tell you, why Russia may prefer China means, if Russian economy is going down, we like to help Russia, no doubt in that, but we don't have that kind of capacity to rescue a big bear. But China can do it, Dragon can do it. China is having an economy, they can do it, but not India. We need to do it without any strings attached. India may do it, but we don't have the capacity. See, that means I am having a friend who have no potential. I am having a suspected person but having the potential. So today I am in trouble. Then where I will go? I have to go to the suspected person only. That means the untrustworthy person. Even though he is untrustworthy, I have to depend on him only. Because only he can solve my problem. Okay. So whether Russia like it or not, Russia today needs China. So this is the underline, the important point. Okay. And then finally write what India did with Russia. You write it. India did with Russia. India, so first you write a statement, India want Russia's continued support and friendship. Right? India wants Russia's continued support, trust and friendship. Continued support, trust and friendship. Continued trust and friendship. So we need Russia, that is the point. So the point is India is moving very close towards US. So in this context, what India said is, you're right, India gave an assurance, India gave an assurance to Russia that India gave an assurance to Russia that India's pro-West stand India's pro-West stand even though India is going pro-West stand, you're right, even India is taking pro-West stand, India will never be a part of Western attempt. Even though India is having a pro-West stand today, India will never be a party or never attempt to isolate Russia in world politics and world economy. India will never be a part of Western attempt to isolate Russia in world politics and world economy. See, we are friendly with the US, but India will never join with the US to isolate Russia in world politics and world economy. So this is the meaning. So India will never be a party to the Western attempt to isolate Russia in world politics and world economy. We will continue to be, we will be a timely and trustworthy friend of Russia. So this is India's move. We will be a timely and trustworthy friend of Russia. We will continue as a timely and trustworthy friend of Russia. Okay, so here we will stop. Okay, so some more thing is that to discuss regarding Russia with respect to Pakistan and other what are the other relation we are having with Russia, that we have to discuss. Okay, that will continue on the next class. Okay, see, I'm going dead slow. So today I thought of completing Russia and Japan, but I have not even completed Russia. For some people it's fast, some people saying it is slow. See, this is a new type, no, online class. So we'll see. So no issue. We'll see. We'll discuss with the other people, and then we'll have a compromise. We'll see. Okay. So I think today's class is slow only. Okay. See, if you want to write everything what I am speaking means how it is possible. That is not at all possible. Okay. See, bilateral relation means it's all about discussion. See, if it is history or geography, concept means you have to write it. This is, you have to understand it. They won't be asking like this what we are discussing in the class. But you need this background understanding. This is the background. Then only you can easily read newspapers. If you read newspapers means based on that only questions will be there. Okay, so you have to come little up. Then only we can complete it. So instead of completing my syllabus in 11 classes, I am going to take 18 classes, 6 classes. Okay. So anyway, so if you have any doubt means you can ask me so far what we have discussed. So we complete this India Russia. Next class I will continue. Okay. So now if you have any question means you can ask. Questions, Arvind?
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Actually,
Okay,
I missed that part of non-alignment, sir. What is it about non-alignment, sir?
See,
In Cold War era?
No, actually non-alignment was started as a result of Cold War. Because of Cold War, world countries has been divided into two camps. If India also goes and join a camp means India is a factor to a war. That's why India doesn't want to be a factor of the war. India wanted to want peace and security. So that's why India, along with the third world countries, we joined the non-alignment movement. We formed the non-alignment movement, telling that we won't join any superpower. That is the original statement. But later in 1971, because the situation demanded, India joined the Soviet Union. But India said that non-alignment means it is not just not joining any power. It is taking a independent foreign policy. So if you already, India might have joined US, our foreign policy, we have to just follow what US is doing. So in order to avoid that only, we did not join US. So taking an independent foreign policy is the main non-alignment principle. This is India's definition to non-alignment movement. Can you understand?
And in 1970, why China and US have good relationships, sir?
Because China, so who is Russia, US enemy? Soviet Union.
Soviet
China
Union.
and Soviet Union fought against each other. Enemies became friends. Cannot, because and Soviet Union, they had some ego problem. Who is going to be the leader of the Soviet world? That means communist world. So China and Russia both were fighting with each other. So US utilized the opportunity. So what US did is, to counter a big communist Russia, US had a tie-up with communist China. Can you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So after that, the US and China are big superpowers, so they just not able to make their friendship.
So until Soviet Union was there, China and US did not have big problem. When Soviet Union collapsed, then the next superpower likely to be number 2 is China. So now US is now turning towards China. Can you understand? Until Soviet Union was there, Soviet Union was the headache for China, US. Who is number 2? Soviet Union. Number 1 is US. So rank 1 was always watching rank 2. When rank 2 collapsed, now rank 3 became rank 2. Now rank 1 we're now going against China. Very simple.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is the class is going in a proper pace?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's clearly understandable only, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Next, students.
Thank you, sir.
Next question. Students, next question.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my question is regarding recent newspaper reading, sir. Sir, in
Yes.
that it has been mentioned that China is helping Saudi Arabia to enrich its uranium source, sir. Could that be seen as a deliberate attempt to isolate US from Saudi Arabia first,
Yes,
so that
yes,
Saudi
definitely.
can directly?
What can be the other thing? This is the only thing. US, that means China, that means China is helping Saudi Arabia, means the ultimate. See, but China will not do it because China is now going towards Iran also. See, it may be a speculation. I don't know how far that thing is true. Whether Saudi Arabia is going to enrich uranium, whether it is having uranium, then enrich uranium, going for bomb, we have to wait and see. Okay. So, but anyway, China will do every effort to cut off countries having friendship with US. But India is moving towards US. That's why China is against India. Very simple.
Sir, my next question is, sir, you said about sir, Russia, India, China. You said about that, sir. Sir, in that the agenda would be against Western countries, or would it be only for the welfare of Russia, India, China, sir?
If it is so 2 things are there. 3 people are coming together. If they are getting stronger, means it is against the enemy also. Like that also you can take it. If Russia, India, and China are stronger, means automatically it is against Western country. So US, tomorrow if India becomes number 2 country, means what US will do? How India-US relationship will be there? You tell me. How India-US relationship will be? US will be the number 1 enemy of India. Okay, so that means as of now, Russia and China are getting bigger. They wanted a big alliance, and India is going and joining US. So that's why to stop that only RIC has been formed. And Russia and India are having good relationship. If Russia, India, China develop ourselves, means by ourselves, means Western country will not like this. This is a move against Western country only. See, 2 ways is there to beat your enemy. One, you go and beat your enemy, do everything against your enemy, or you make yourself very powerful. If you are making yourself very powerful, means what is the understanding from the view of the enemy? The enemy is getting weaker. So it is against the enemy only. Okay. So self-development, through self-development to counter Western country. That is Rick Briggs understanding.
Sir, and my last doubt is, sir, you said that Russia is always supporting India in terms of Jammu and Kashmir, sir.
Yes.
Could it be seen as against China? No, sir. The Jammu Kashmir issue, if Russia is supporting India, means it is against China. No, sir. Could there be a conflict? No, sir. So how it could be balanced, sir?
Yes. Why we have to balance? It is good for us. How China Pakistan is going to balance? Like that, you have to ask me a question. Already Russia is
Yes, sir.
supporting India. So, but China did not openly support Pakistan regarding Kashmir issues so far. Only in the last 10 years only, China, because of the CPEC, is showing direct interest in China's Kashmir, POK Kashmir, and openly supporting Pakistan. Okay, so in Kashmir issue, Russia always support India. In addition to Russia, now US, France also openly supporting India, because last week China made a move. It moved a resolution against India with respect to Kashmir. There was no need for Russia to put veto. Before that itself, Western country, they came forward and put veto. They said that this is their internal matter, domestic matter. So no need to discuss that in the closed session in United Nations Security Council. Like that they said. So with respect to Kashmir, Russia's support will be there with India. And obviously now today US also will completely back India. US also said that US will cooperate with India in protecting our borders. Like that US have given a statement. Okay. So definitely China will be isolated if China directly involves in Kashmir problem. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Class correct போகுதுங்களா ஃபேஸ் வேகமா இருக்கு மெதுவா இருக்கு ஏதா சொல்லுங்க.
இல்ல சார் கரெக்டா தான் சார் போகுது ஒண்ணுமே ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை.
Okay, thank you. Good. Next student. Yes.
Yes. Sir. This is Sivapriya, sir.
சொல்லுங்க.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding this Russian oil and gas problem, sir. That map I missed, sir. Can you please explain, sir? One map with many locations.
This one.
Before that, sir. Yes, sir. This
is the oil and gas petrol network of Russia. Okay. So most of the Russian oil and gas is sent to European countries. But now because of the sanction put on Russia, European countries are not buying oil and gas. Can you understand?
Oh, okay, sir. So which means Russian influence in Baltic Seas also has become a problem, no, sir, because of this.
Yes. Russia's influence in West European, see, every time it is a problem. Every time it is a problem for Russia. So okay. Through this only, this is the main route, ship route. Okay, it is always a problem.
But Atlantic Ocean and Baltic Sea has become a problem.
Always a problem. It is not a new problem. From day one, Russia is having this problem.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. And one more doubt, sir, regarding this string of pearls, no, sir, to counter China. In that, can I mention this project Mausam, sir, of India? India has one project called Project Mausam.
Mausam only, now we call it as AAGC. We will discuss that while we discuss Japan. Mausam is an initiative. It did not proceed. The Mausam in another way, now we are calling this as AAGC. See, this is an antithesis. Antithesis means China is doing one thing, to oppose that we are doing something. We are giving a threat. Okay, so you have to come in line, otherwise we will start a rival project. Like that India is telling. Earlier India called that as a Mausam. Mausam means season. In Hindi, Mausam means season. So China is trying to revive the old trade route. We have seasonal trade. So we are trying to open the old seasonal route. Okay, so that is called Mausam, Project Mausam. Mausam means it is trade, weather. Based on the
so
weather.
Can we mention, sir, or it is not worthy, sir?
You can mention. This is an announced initiative. Like that you can mention. No issue is there. Okay.
Sir. And one more. Yes, sir.
Doubt. What is the next?
Regarding this, in newspaper I saw this Cuban missile crisis, sir, in 1960s between Cuba and USA.
Yes.
And that Russia has some part in it.
Not some part. Russia has main part. Russia was about to give missiles and other things to Cuba. Cuba is a communist country. So Russia was about to give. If Cuba is like India, Sri Lanka, Cuba is very near to US. If Cuba is having all the missiles, means It is a direct security threat to US. That is the main problem between Cuban crisis. But because of some diplomatic effort, Russia said Russia will not supply Cuba the missiles and all. That is the Cuban missile crisis. It is a tense situation. That's all. Actually, no, it was not a war-like situation. Cold War problem.
Okay, sir. That during that period, Khrushchev was Russian president, sir.
Who was Khrushchev? Khrushchev was not a president. He is the Secretary General of Communist Party of Russia. Secretary General.
But it is like overruling the Russian president, no, sir, in that case?
In communist countries, Secretary General of Communist Party is the supremo. He is the supreme leader.
Okay, sir. After USSR disintegration, this changed. US president has more power. US Russian president has more power.
Oh.
Right, no, sir?
Russia is not a communist country. No communist party is there. Communist party is not in power in Russia today. So Russian president is powerful today. So earlier to that,
Okay,
the Secretary General of Communist Party is the supremo. Even in China, Xi Jinping is the president of China and Secretary General of Communist Party of China. Okay.
Okay, sir.
No other
Okay,
political
sir.
party is allowed in a communist rule. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
class-
And
class-
one more doubt, sir.
Oh, yes. சொல்லுங்க
Yes, sir. You please continue, sir. Sorry, sir.
இல்ல கிளாஸ் ஃபேஸ் ஓகேவா ஃபாஸ்டா போதா மெதுவா போதா சொன்னீங்கன்னா தான் நான் மாத்துவேன். ஏன்னா நிறைய பேர் மாத்தி மாத்தி
Yes, sir.
சொல்றீங்க. உங்களுக்கு
எனக்கு ஓகே தான் சார் இருக்கு.
ஓகே
problem
நெக்ஸ்ட்
இல்ல,
டவுட் குவிக்லி நெக்ஸ்ட் டவுட்.
Sir, in history, actually, one point came like utilitarian philosophy of Bentham, sir. So, sir told you better ask Govindraj, sir. He will give better picture like that.
see are you a political science student?
I'm trying to take it as optional, sir. So,
Utilitarian principle na is nothing that they will see whatever the government is doing, whatever you are going to ask them whether it is good or bad means they will evaluate what is good and what is bad based upon how much that particular thing is giving pleasure to you and how much it is reducing pain to that particular person. See, so for example, I am an utilitarian means you are coming and giving me a sweet. So how I will evaluate that whether the sweet is good one or a bad one? If I take the sweet means if it is giving me more pleasure, then I will say that this is good. If it is giving me more pain, I will say that this is bad. So utilitarian means they will see everything in utility point of view. What is utility? Increasing the pleasure, decreasing the pain. This is utilitarian principle. How much it is beneficial to me, how much it is making me happy. Based on that only I will evaluate it is good and bad. But that idea is a very bad idea. Why means because if I am having diabetes, if somebody is giving sweet means it will give me more pleasure, but it is not good for me. If somebody is giving me medicine means nobody like to take medicine because it tastes sour, but it is good for me. You can understand. This is utilitarian principle. This is the critics on utilitarian principle. Utilitarians, they view everything in how much happiness it will provide me. If it provide me happiness, I will say that is a very good thing. If it is provide me unhappiness or uncomfortableness, I will say that is a bad one. So this is utilitarian principle. That is a very bad idea. This is a rich man's idea. Okay.
okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
If you come to the political science class, we will discuss this for nearly 1 hour. So just I am giving you an idea. Utilitarian means they will see everything in utility point. How much it will provide me utility. What is utility? More happiness, less pain. If you are doing something and it is giving me more happiness and it is reducing my pain, I will say that is the best thing in the world. But like that, you should not evaluate a particular thing. Why means because what is good thing will not actually see. If I wanted to make my body strong means I have to do exercise. Doing exercise is very hard. According to utilitarian principle, it is giving me more pain. No pain means no gain. Like that only idea is there. So according to utilitarian principle, it will go against what is called good. But they will evaluate what is good and bad based upon how much it is giving him happiness, which is a bad idea. Why you are asking this? On what context?
In 1833 Charter Act, it was mentioned like that, sir. So this philosophy has to be included like that.
Okay. We will discuss this. If you come to class means we will discuss in some other time. Okay. Then next question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next question. Yes, Vishnu.
Hello, sir. So I have a few questions. And the first one is about the position of Ukraine towards NATO.
ஏதோ எக்கோ அடிக்குதுப்பா, கிணத்துக்குள்ள இருந்து பேசுற மாதிரி இருக்கு.
Hello, sorry, sir. What about now?
ரொம்ப மோசமா இருக்கு, பயங்கரமா எக்கோ அடிக்குது.
Sorry,
now okay, yes.
Sir, a question on the what is the current stand of Ukraine towards NATO?
Towards NATO, it has already joined the Western countries. See, I am not telling that Ukraine has now become a member in NATO, but a NATO-friendly government is installed in Ukraine. That's all. Very simple.
Oh, right, sir. So it is not supporting Russia.
No. Now Ukraine is ruled by the opponents of Viktor Yushchenko, that guy.
Yeah, but you said there is a loan issue between Ukraine and Russia, so they have a neutral stand or something like that.
No. That was during Viktor Yanukovych period. Okay, Viktor Yanukovych is now overthrown. And he fled Kiev and entered Crimea, and Crimea is now with Russia. Ukraine is now with Western European countries.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. So you did you say that there is a sanction on Russia from on other countries so that nobody is buying oil from Russia?
Sanction is there by West European countries and USA alone, not by other countries. Unilaterally, one-to-one relation is cut down between West and Russia, West Europe and Russia. That is, European Union and the US have put sanctions on Russia because of Crimean issue.
Okay. Okay. So, and one more question, sir. How is the US looking? You said Make in India plan is invite India. I mean, set up factories in India. How do you look at that?
I'm not able to hear your question properly, but I understand that what is Make in India program. Make in India program means in India the product will be made in India.
No, sir.
Question எனக்கு clear-ஆ கேட்கல.
Question is how is US looking at India's invitation for Russian companies to set up?
US will not like it. We have to discuss that. For that purpose only, US have put the CAA TSA Act. So that we are going to discuss in the next class, next slide. Okay. So US doesn't like India-Russia cooperation. Very simple. But US have no other choice because India also have no other choice. That US understand. That's why despite US pressure, India have signed a lot of defense deals with Russia, including Make in India project. Some Make in India project. US will not like it.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Rakesh.
Is it audible, sir?
Yes, clear.
Is it audible, sir?
Yes, it's clear.
Sir, as you said, at present, Russia's best friendly nation when compared to India and China. China is the best friendly nation.
No, I never said that
But
China is the best friend. No, see, you have.
I mean, currently.
See, the words I used is today Russia prefers China than India.
Oh.
So China is
Yeah,
number one,
that's what
number
I'm
two
trying
is
to
India, based upon situation. I never said best friend. No.
Okay.
Now you
that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Sir, in case of UNSC and also in case of Kashmir issue, Russia will stand with India. What's the view of Russia? What's the view of China in it, sir?
See, in UNSC, China will block India. China doesn't want India to China and India are playing a zero-sum game in Caspian Sea. One person's gain is another person's loss. If India gains means it is a loss for China. So in these two things, China is against India. Very simple.
Sir, I'm asking, will this two incident will affect the relationship between Russia and China because Russia is backing India in these two issues?
Both are big people. So do you think that Russia will dance according to China's tune always? No. In certain area where they have common interest, they are cooperating. Russia also need China, China also need Russia to counter US. That's why they are together. Otherwise, these two countries will fight with each other. Two power centers
Sir,
cannot
as
exist.
okay, sir. As you said, in case of Indo-US relation, India have given assurance to Russia that it won't isolate it. But
Yes.
in case of India-Russia relationship, what is the view of USA in it, sir?
US want India to cut off our relationship with Russia. This is what US want. But India's position is we can't cut off our relationship. That US also understands. So slowly only, even if US wants, slowly only India can move towards US. That US understands. Okay, immediately cutting off our relationship with Russia, India will never go behind US, because today US is okay. Tomorrow, US will not consider the second party. US is working for US interest alone. Its interest frequently changes. So we can't. See, they are using this word. We can't be a pawn. PAWN. Pawn means in chess that soldier's coin is there, no? That piece. We can't be a pawn for US. When big powers are behind, we can't go and fight and face other country, because US doesn't like that particular country. Okay, so you have to note that India will work for India's national interest. Every country works for their national interest. So now, if we have two different situation, means we have to balance the two. For example, Russia, US means we have to balance it. So here only diplomacy plays a vital role.
Okay, sir. As of like India gave assurance to Russia, whether India gave any assurance to US in case of India-Russia relationship?
No need to give assurance. India's position is that so we have no other choice. US knows this. That's why even after CATS Act, even after that India signed some kind of deal with Russia, US did not put sanctions on India, because India have no other choice. Choice illa. See, when you have no choice, I can't see. For example, you are living in one particular place, one particular shop is there. There only food is available. Otherwise, you have to travel 50-60 kilometers to just for having a tiffin. So I am telling, don't buy this from the shop because I am your friend. Don't buy this. I don't like the shop. Means, do you think that you will listen to me? See, when you have other choice, I can put pressure on you. See, don't do it with this guy. Don't have a relation with this particular person. But if you don't have other choice, means then how can I come and pressurize you? So this is the position of US. US also understands India's position, and we will not bend towards US for this. We will discuss this. What you are asking. This will be the discussion in the next class. First discussion.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Class okay, wa? Fast.
Yeah, that's smooth, sir. It's good. No problem, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Next student.
Thank you, sir.
Next question. Yes, Pooja.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt, that is, can we take the economic sanction on Russia? Can we take it as a reason for Russia do not want US and other Western countries to access oil from these West Asian countries, so that they will buy from Russia?
Two countries are having problem, means India, China are having border problem, means that is not only just because of border, other issues are there. So in other, so they want settlement in other issues. That's why they will create problem in one particular issue. See, what China is going to gain from the Galwan Valley? See, Chinese people never lives near that particular territory. At least North Indians, densely populated territory is there. But China is, do you think that China is looking for territory? No, China is not looking for territory. China is giving a signal to India that India should not cooperate with US against China. Or India's policy should be in lines with the Chinese model. For that only, to put pressure only, China is doing like this. So can understand. See, if two parties are having one problem, means, see, other problems will be there, but everything will be but they will not fight for that and all. But in some other issue only, they will, a fight will be provoked. But that fight is not provoked because of that is called immediate cause. Other reason, immediate cause. Like that we will say, no, while discussing things.
Yes, sir.
Like that, this is an immediate cause. Other issues are also there. Always, other issues also will be there.
Okay, sir. So I have one more doubt about H1B visa. Will you discuss in other class, or
just ask the question. Yes. Yes.
That is, in recent days we saw about a ban for H-1B visa, but before that itself, Trump had given a ban till the year end, right? So
Yeah,
what is the ban now?
actually,
I can't understand.
H-1B visa is a visa given to the software professionals mainly. The software professional category people are white collar job is for that. Okay. So more than 90% of the total H-1B visa given by US to other world countries is occupied by Indians. Okay, Indian IT service people are going and working there. Already we have a restriction. Every time only per year 40,000 people only is allowed to enter into US. Like that it was there. But because of the pandemic situation, now the Trump has said that I'm completely suspending this H-1B visa. But that will not happen. Okay, they will resume it. In that particular case, means all the top people in US CEOs are all Indian people only. Whether it is Sundar Pichai, Nadella, whoever it is, they will put pressure. Okay, so US is doing like that, but that statement will not stand. US will revise the position.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Class follow பண்ண முடியுதா?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. It is follow. Yeah, you are going slow only, and
Slow
you
only.
are explaining things, Raj, sir. That's all.
But some people are telling I am going fast. They are directly
No,
calling.
sir. You are saying the same point again and again. You're
Yes.
going slow.
And
only.
I have no other choice because some people what they're doing is they're just calling the people and then telling he's coming and telling that you are going fast, go slow like that. See, first if you have any
No, sir. You are
not
going
only
slow.
for
only.
all students I'm telling, if you have any issue, man, you just post it to me. If the issue is not solved, man, then you can appeal. Directly you are calling them during the class time, someone is coming and telling, means how this is not nice. This is not a way to solve a problem. If you have any problem, means raise the issue to the immediate person. If I am taking the class, if you have any issue with me in fast, whatever it is, you just ask me. And then if things are not cleared, means then you can appeal to them. Okay, some people are telling I am going slow, some people are telling I am going very fast. Why are you going fast like that? Means so then how I will know first? Okay, just first communicate with me. Okay, next question.
Thank you, sir. That's all.
Sahana. Yes.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, what is the need of IRIGC to India, sir? What is its significance, sir?
See, IRIGC is an annual meeting. That's all. All Indian government people will meet Russian counterparts. Cooperation. That's all.
Indian agriculture. Of India, sir?
No, need means cooperation with Russia. So Indian agriculture, Russian agriculture, Indian defense, Russian defense, like that. Okay, just a cooperation.
Okay, sir.
Cooperation.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
All European countries are the member of NATO, sir, or
West European countries are members of NATO. Not all European countries. Majority of the West European countries are members. Yes.
Why it is purposely called as NATO, sir? Any
North Atlantic Treaty Organization is an organization signed by the rim countries of Atlantic Ocean, North America and West European countries, to counter communism, counter Soviet Union. Now Soviet Union is no more, but now also they are there. If you go and touch any one European country, all the NATO countries will come for fight. They will come together. That is the understanding. It is a security treaty.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Offense against one country is the offense against all NATO countries. That is the understanding.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes, Arun.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my doubt. Pacific Ocean la வந்து அதாவது நார்த் பசிபிக் ஓஷன்ல ரஷ்யாவோட இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் இருக்கா சார்? இல்ல
இருக்கு. Why it is there? This side you have this particular city called Vladivostok. So it is the border somewhere here. I don't know. So it is there. North Pacific Ocean, Russia is there. Yes.
So நாம நார்த் பசிபிக் ஓஷன்ல வந்து நாம ஸ்ட்ராங்கா இருக்கும், இது ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லா இருக்குல்ல சார்? இந்த மாதிரி பாயிண்ட்ஸ் எழுதலாமா சார் எக்ஸாம்ல?
எழுதலாம். அதெல்லாம் தாராளமா எழுதலாம்
சார். அப்புறம் செகண்ட் கொஸ்டின் வந்து, இப்போ சைனா வந்து நம்ம பார்டர் கண்ட்ரிஸ் கூட, நம்மளை சுற்றி இருக்க கண்ட்ரிஸ் கூட எல்லாம் போர்ட்ஸ் நிறைய இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் எல்லாம் இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்றாங்க. அது இல்லாம யூரோப்பியன் பாலிடிக்ஸ்லயும் சைனா இன்வால்வ் ஆகுறாங்க. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி இஷ்யூஸ்லாம் வந்து அவங்க யூஎஸ்ஏ ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்றதுக்காக பண்றாங்க சார். யூஎஸ்ஏ வந்து சைனா ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்றதுக்காக.
China wanted to become number one. China wanted to replace number one, which US is now having. Yes. 100% இதான் முடியுமானா செஞ்சு பண்ணத்தான் முடியும். முயற்சி செய்யணும்ல, அது முயற்சி செஞ்சுட்டு இருக்காங்க. நாளைக்கு எக்ஸாம் கிளியர் பண்ணுவீங்களான்னா எப்படி பண்ண முடியும்? இன்னையிலேருந்து முயற்சி செய்யணும். அது மாதிரி தான். It is trying to do that. But whether it is possible or not, we have to wait and see. Very difficult chance only is there.
Okay sir. Okay. So that's the question. Sir, class கரெக்ட்டா தான் சார் போயிட்டு இருக்கு சார்.
Okay pa, good. Thank you. Okay. So next.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. I am Revati.
Yes.
Sir, from this we can understand that for India, US is a temporary reliable factor. Is it so, sir? And Russia is a permanent one. Anything like that?
See, we don't know. See, what is permanent, what is temporary, it is difficult to define. But Russia is a reliable one. Why I am telling reliable one means, see, you may have lot of friends, but when you are in trouble, some friend might have come and backed you and supported you.
Yes.
See, based on the historic experience only, we can say who is reliable. If tomorrow you are going to have a problem, means you can rely on that particular person. So like that, India can rely on Russia. But historically, India and US were against each other. See, now only in the last 10-20 years only, we are having good relationship with US. So that immediately you can't say that it is temporary. Maybe this friendship may extend for thousands of years. So depending upon the situation only, we can evaluate India-US relationship. Depending upon the historic relationship, Russia is a friend of India. So this is the understanding. But tomorrow also, Russia also may go against India. Chances are there. We don't know. So everything we can evaluate based upon the merit of the issue, not on any other thing. Okay? How that issue is going to affect the national interest of both the countries. Based on that only, relationship will be there.
Okay, sir. Sir, what I understood is like there is an evolution that is from bilateral relation to trilateral relation, then to a multilateralism.
Okay.
Is there anything like that? This is what I understood, sir. From bilateral relation, then the world changed to a trilateral relationship, or that has, and then to a multilateralism.
Okay, but we can say like this. I have even given a question. From non-alignment to multi-alignment. Like that I have given a question, no?
Yes, sir.
Non-alignment means keeping all the power centers at the distance, not aligning with any powers. Now we are having alignment with all the powers, including China with respect to trade. So India is in the trend only. We are moving towards multipolar world, multilateral relationship. That is true.
Okay, sir. Sir, then about the North-South corridor project that is connecting India, Iran, Russia, Europe also there, sir.
Yes. We have not discussed that. Next slide, that will be that. Okay, we'll discuss that in the next class.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, class is going perfectly good, sir. No problem, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Next student.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you briefly explain about Crimean crisis, sir?
Crimean crisis. See, Crimea is a very important country for Russia. Okay, so this part is Crimea. So in Crimea only Russia's naval port is there. See, that's why Western country is trying to pull Ukraine into their camp. Ukraine becomes their camp, means Russia will lose this port. All the other ports are only in the Russian northern side. Russia will become a dummy power. That's why when Ukraine was pulled into their camp, Russia annexed Crimea as a part of Russia. This is Crimean country. Can you understand?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Class correct?
Yes, sir. Class is going correctly, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, can you tell me about NATO power? Who is NATO, sir?
NATO means North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It is a group of countries, security partners. If you attack one country means it is an attack on entire NATO nations. That is the understanding. The countries who are in the North Atlantic Ocean, America, Canada, England, France, so all the people who are in the rim countries in the Atlantic Ocean, they all formed NATO. This is an alliance of the first world countries against the second world countries. Second world countries means communist countries. That day Soviet Union. But now Soviet Union is no more. But NATO is still intact. If you go and attack Belgium, US will wage war against you. So this is called NATO. All the parties who are in NATO will wage war against you. So this is NATO countries. This blue one is the NATO.
Yes, sir. Is anything relation with the NATO and Nazis? NATO and Nazis.
NATO and?
Nazis.
Nazi? No. After the downfall of Nazi only, Germany, all these countries formed NATO. See, that is among the allies this problem started. Okay. This is, NATO is associated with communism, capitalism. NATO is a capitalistic group of countries. Very simple. Against Soviet Union. Against Soviet Union. Nazi, by the time and all, Nazi people were not there. When NATO was signed, Nazis were not there. Nazis were already defeated. Nazism came to an end with the downfall of Adolf Hitler.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Next question.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, how Russia sees when India become the permanent member in UNSC, sir? Russia also get one support. How Russia sees when India become the permanent member in UNSC? Russia also get one support.
Yes. Russia wants India to become a member. Because
sir,
Russia will get an ally.
நம்ம
ரஷ்யாவோட ஃப்ரெண்ட் தானே, அதனால ரஷ்யா இட் இஸ் குட் ஃபார் ரஷ்யா ஒன்லி.
சார் அப்புறம் நம்மளோட ரஷ்யாவோட நீட் வந்து உனக்கு குறைஞ்சிருமில்ல சார். இப்போ இந்தியாவே ஒரு பர்மனன்ட் மெம்பர் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா நம்ம ரஷ்யாவோட சப்போர்ட் வந்து யூஎன்எஸ்சில தேவையில்லாத மாதிரி ஆயிடும்.
தேவையில்லாம போயிடும்.
அப்படியும் ரஷ்யா
இருந்தாலும் அப்புறம் நம்ம so we have other interest, no? Russia and India are good friends. எப்படி good friends? How we are saying that both countries are good friends? Because we never went against each other. The other name, yes, we did not have any problem, na நம்ம friends தானே.
சார் அவங்க வந்து ஒரு சப்போர்ட் குறைஞ்ச மாதிரி பார்க்க மாட்டாங்க சார்.
அதாவது இன்னைக்கு நம்ம ரஷ்யாவோட டிபெண்டன்ட்டா இருக்கோம். If India becomes a superpower, yes, India will become independent of Russia. But yet friendship will continue.
அப்போ ரஷ்யா வந்து நம்ம பர்மனன்ட் மெம்பரா சப்போர்ட் தான் பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு சொல்றீங்க சார்?
சப்போர்ட் பண்றாங்க. They are supporting us. Russia is supporting India's candidature for UNSC. Except China, other countries are supporting. Even China said that I am not opposing it earlier. But India comes along with Japan means I will not allow you. Like that, China has given us a warning. But the important point is, all the 5 people are not telling in the same forum. That is the problem. But today, on seeing today's situation, China will never allow India to become a full member in NSG. Sorry, NSG and also UNSC. Yes.
Okay, sir. All.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Class fast, okay, va?
Okay, sir. பழையபடியே இருக்கலாம் சார். ஃபாஸ்டா இருக்கலாம் சார். இது இன்னைக்கு எடுத்த கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லோவா தான் சார்.
ஸ்லோவா தான் இருக்குது. Okay. Next student.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Sir, I need a bit clarification, sir. Whether India is not buying oil and gases from Russia due to the pressure of USA or its personal interest in West Asia, sir?
Oh, see, it is personal interest on us only. We are not buying. See, that's why I gave an example. You wanted to buy a 10 rupees Renault pen. Where you have to buy it? You have to go to the nearby shop near your house and then buy it. You should not go to the manufacturing center in Pune and buy it. 10 rupees பேனாவுக்கு நான் 1000 ரூபாய் செலவு பண்ணிட்டு போயிட்டு வருவீங்களா? 2-3 நாள் பூனைக்கு போயிட்டு வருது அது மாதிரி. So we need oil and gas. It is available in our neighborhood. பெட்ரோல் போடுறதுக்கு எங்க போவீங்க? இங்க பூட்டான்ல பெட்ரோல் சீப்பா இருக்கு. இங்க இருந்து பூட்டான்ல போயிட்டு பெட்ரோல் போட்டுட்டு வரோம் நம்ம. பக்கத்துல இருக்க பூத்துல தான் போடணும். ஏன்னா distance means cost. Cost means less profit. So buying oil from Russia, oil and gas from Russia is not profitable for India. That's why we are not buying it. ஏன்னா டிஸ்டன்ஸ் அங்கேருந்து இங்கே ஆயில் அண்ட் கேஸ் கொண்டு வரணும்ல, அதுக்கு ஒரு காஸ்ட் ஆகுது, அந்த காஸ்ட்டும் பெட்ரோல் காஸ்ட்ல சேர்ந்துரும். ஸோ இட் இஸ் நாட் குட் ஃபார் இந்தியா. பட் இஃப் யூ டோன்ட் ஹேவ் அதர் சாய்ஸ் தென் வி வில் பை இட் ஃப்ரம் ரஷ்யா.
ஓகே சார், ஓகே சார்.
இது பக்கத்திலே கிடைக்குது, பக்கத்துல இருக்க பெட்ரோல் பூத் மாதிரி டக்குன்னு போயிட்டு வெஸ்ட் ஏஷியால வாங்கிட்டு வந்துடும். நீங்க வெனிசுலாவும் கொடுங்க, வெனிசுலா அந்த எண்ட்ல இருக்கு, அங்கேருந்து வரணும்னா டிரான்ஸ்போர்டேஷன் காஸ்ட் ஆகுதுல்ல.
Yes, I have a bit doubt on that. By these biogas deal, we can strengthen our friendship with Russia. So I have a bit.
But ரஷ்யாவும் என்ன பண்ணணும், ரஷ்யா சீப் ரேட்டுக்கு நமக்கு செல் பண்ணாலும் what will happen? Ultimately in India it will become costly. When it comes to India it becomes costly. Yes, because of the transportation.
I got that, sir.
Both buyer seller, it is not good for both the people.
Okay, sir. Okay.
But out of no other choice is there. West Asia, they are fighting with each other. All our supply lines have been cut. Then we will buy it from Russia. But also we are having tie-up. Okay, next class I will tell you.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yes.
சார், கடந்த ரெண்டு வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி மோடி போய் விளாடிவோஸ்டோக்கும் சென்னைக்கு ஒரு காரிடார் பிளான்
இருக்கு. ஆமா ஆமா, நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணுவோம். அதுல என்ன क्वेश्चन உங்களுக்கு? என்ன காரிடார் பண்றீங்க? நான் என்ன சொன்னேன், ஏதாவது ரோடு போட்டீங்கன்னா பரவாயில்ல, தண்ணிக்குள்ள போறதுக்கு என்ன காரிடார்? அதாவது என்னன்னா, we have a connection to show that we are doing it. In Vladivostok we are going to spend some money in infrastructure. in சென்னை ரெண்டு இடத்துல பண்ணோம்னா ரெண்டையும் கனெக்ட் பண்றோம்னு ஒரு சிம்பாலிக்கா காமிக்கிறது தான். தண்ணிக்குள்ள போறதுக்கு என்ன எக்ஸ்ட்ரா காசு வரப்போகுது உங்களுக்கு?
இல்ல சார், அது சைனாவை சரவுண்ட் பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்குல்ல சார். அது சைனா இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் எப்படி பாக்குறாங்க?
சைனாவுக்கு பிடிக்காதா? ஏப்பா, இப்ப நம்ம சைனா என்ன சொல்லுது, நான் என்ன இந்தியாவை சரவுண்ட் பண்றேன், நான் குவாதார்ல போயிட்டு என் ஃப்ரெண்டு பாகிஸ்தானோட பேசிட்டு இருக்கேங்கிறான். இவன் அந்த வழியில போனானா என்னைய தான் நீ சுத்தி வர்றேன்னு நம்ம சொல்றோம். அதே மாதிரி அங்க போனோம்னா அவனை சுத்துறேன்னு அவன் சொல்லுவான். அவ்வளவுதான், இது ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. இப்போ உங்க நெய்பர், உங்க எனிமி உங்க நெய்பர் வீட்டுக்கு வந்தானா நீங்க என்ன நினைப்பீங்க? பாருங்க, அவங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் நம்மள என்ன ரவுண்ட் பண்றானோ அப்படின்னு நம்ம பேசுவோம்ல, அது மாதிரி இருக்கு. அதான், இது ஒன்றும் செய்ய முடியாது. Vladivostok China, this connection is against China only. China sees this is against that. It is against its interest. ஆனாலும் we will have cooperation.
ஓகே சார். சார், யுனைடெட் நேஷன் ஜெனரல் அசெம்பிளி இருக்குல்ல சார், மத்த கண்ட்ரி ஓட் போடுறாங்கல்ல, அது எல்லாமே ஓபனா அது எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியுமா சார்? இப்போ ஆப்பிரிக்கால
எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும்.
எப்படி சார்
ஓட் போட்டா தெரியும், யார் யார் எங்க ஓட்டு போட்டுருக்காங்கன்னு ஓபனா தெரியும். ஓபன் ஓட்டு தான். ஆனா யுனைடெட் நேஷன் ஜெனரல் அசெம்பிளில நான் பைண்டிங் ரெக்கமெண்டேஷன் தான் கொடுக்க முடியும். ஆனா யுஎன்எஸ்சில பைண்டிங் ரெக்கமெண்டேஷன் கொடுக்கலாம். அந்த ரெக்கமெண்டேஷன் எல்லாமே பைண்டிங் தான் அர்த்தம்.
சரி, தேங்க்யூ சார்.
ஓகேப்பா, அவ்வளோதானா?